I mean, Cash, for crying out loud, you weren't on the ball this time.
No, it was supposed to be you.
The following
this time,
content
Baron.
contains adult language and humor that is
Oh,
not suitable
okay.
for viewers under the age of 18.
I couldn't get a
Viewer
word in.
discretion is strongly advised.
You're on the roll. Oh.
No,
Oh,
you
The
were
views
on the
and
roll.
opinions expressed during
Should
the
we
following
talk it over?
video
This is
content are
important.
those of the individual and may not reflect those of others. Thank you.
It was
Yeah,
all
so
your
there-
fault this time, Baron.
I know. Hey, entertainment, pop culture, opinion, news, reaction, review, discussion, watch party, rumor, open. Is that what we all are? Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm shocked and amazed.
We may not do it every episode, but I put it there just in case.
That's true.
Yeah, exactly. Hey,
Yes.
that's me. Cool.
That's you, man.
Yeah.
Flying in the sky.
Well,
Hey, that's me.
That's
Yeah.
you, Jack Monet and his money bin, yo.
Yeah, my money bin. I gotta protect it from the Beagle Boys.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Mike's the Beagle Boy. That's what happened.
I thought it was Crit. Okay.
Oh, maybe Crit is? Yeah.
I'm I got a source. You know, I got a special thing with the sports that you to bring up on today's show.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're on the air? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, jeez. Aaron, I'm going to have to talk to you after the show.
You always do,
Time for
Mike.
a timeout.
You always do. Yeah. Grab my
Back in
floaties.
the dinghy. That's right.
Boy, these two are already riled up, aren't they, folks?
Yeah.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome one and all to this Sunday edition of Pacific414 Pop Talk, along with, I don't know which one's Laurel, which one's Hardy, but you could decide that. Along with Baron Norman Tag and Cash Money 007, I am your host, Mike. And this afternoon, this morning, this evening, or depending on where you're at, it could be anytime. You could be watching this on the replay for all we know after the fact. We are going to be talking about several stories this afternoon. A couple of them from Bounding in the Comics. And those stories being Stellar Blade, director rejects microtransactions, promises game will not require players to spend any additional money beyond what they paid for the package.
Mm-hmm.
Shocking.
Yeah.
I mean that. Serious. Shocking.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah.
We also have another story from Bounding in the Comics. Visions of Mana, producer, refuses to change series identity for Western audiences. It is best to deliver the game based on the developer's creative vision.
Wow.
Get more into that story.
I'm
when
glad.
the time
See,
comes.
this is the pushback I was talking about, folks. This is the pushback.
There'll be some people in the West too that'll tell them to go F themselves too. These people that want to change their vision, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, you got the people on auto dials and call them up and tell them off or changing stuff. It's like, we
Sure.
know you. Yeah.
Auto dial.
We also have an article. We also have an article from Fast Company that says Paramount and Skydance edge closer to a merger agreement. Also, I can't say for certain that everybody has watched The Wheel of Fortune, but there are those of us who have watched The Wheel of Fortune every now and then in our lives, and we do have an update as to when the final episode featuring Pat Sajak as host of The Wheel of Fortune will be airing on television. And the last story that we'll be talking about for today is Dune Part 3 has been confirmed in development with Denis Villeneuve set to return. And we'll find out the details of that from Superhero Hype. And when the time comes, we'll also take a look at this weekend's box office. But gentlemen, how are you doing today?
I'm horrible. I mean, absolutely horrible. It's a rotten day. Woke up and, the dog crapped on the side of the bed. I stepped on it. And then there was no pop in the fridge and I'm all out ice. And I mean, it's just horrible, man. Horrible. Can't you tell? I mean, I'm just a pathetic shell of a man now.
Pathetic. But you found a corn pop, right? So that's good.
He's a bad dude. He's a bad dude. Yeah.
Oh, mhm.
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
I'm being good. We get. It's raining here and windy, but we need the moisture. I think a lot of people need the moisture, and a lot of people don't need that moisture. So I'm glad they're sharing finally. But it's a perfect day to be inside in front of a computer and a microphone, flapping my gums. So.
And I also want to say hello to Phil McCracken, who says I was looking forward to this. Then there, Cash Money. It saddened me deeply. Well, don't let it upset you,
Thank you,
Phil.
Agent Smith. Yeah, now go back to the Matrix. Thanks.
Yeah. I was
Of
looking
course,
forward to streaming, and I ended up here. What? Huh? Sorry, I said that out loud. I'm sorry. I'm so very, very sorry.
That's fine. That's fine. If that's your opinion, that's fine.
I'm kidding.
But first, before we get into any of those articles, we are going to get into the latest episode of Beverly Hills 414. And Baron, why don't you take it away for us?
Me? Oh.
Yes, you. Yes, you.
Oh, listen to that song. I wonder who did that. It's such a beautiful song. Let me scroll up here all the way there. me. Okay, it kind of threw me off there. I have to get ready here. So my also try to do like 24/7 Fusion Media. Previously on Beverly Hills 414, they blew that shit up. So Mike had been looking at the empty meat case for a bit when YG, the self-proclaimed meat man. Well, he obviously didn't meet me because 24/7 Fusion Media is all man. But I just want to tell you that of the bodega stuck stuck his head around the corner and flashed a big grin. Hey, Joe! Mike was never certain if the man was saying hi, Joe, or hello with a bad accent, so he erred on the side of cautions. Hello back to you, GG. Why are you all sold out? Oh, yes. No meat. Very strange. We have tube steak. You want tube steak? Yes? The man grinned. Well, are you going to get more meat today? Mike asked, sidestepping the question. Not know when meat come. Should be here early today. Not here, only tube steak. Give you a good deal if you want tube steak. Again, the push for a sale, and Mike just shook his head. We're going to get canceled for this, but I don't care. It's fun. I told you before, GG, it's not tube steak. Here we call those hot dogs. Thanks anyway. Are you turning down a good hot dog? Man. What if they're Hebrew nationals? Oh, those are good. Our Nathans.
Those are so good. Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. Not just for Jewish people anymore. Mike went back to his shopping. Looks like he was going to have to take a trip to the butcher's. Crippled Coin felt pretty good about his chances. He was going to blow that shit up. He had it unfurled, presented the full glory of his chin. But, it's pretty impressive. But,
I don't know where this is going.
Several of the others he had noticed took one look at him and left. If it was this easy, he'd have no difficulty getting that easy money, which cash is all about, by the way. It'd be easier than that time in Pittsburgh with the midgets and the Mack truck.
Wait, what?
So, yeah, midgets. Come on, you remember that, or were you too drunk to remember?
The midgets in the Mack truck.
Yeah, midgets in the Mack truck, man. Yeah.
So that woman on the side might be competition.
Yeah, that woman on the side be. I wonder who that is. I wonder who that could be that was doing that competition on the side. Who could that be? I don't know, but I have an idea who that could be. Who could that be?
I don't know. It's a mystery.
There we go.
No, it is not.
There we go.
I see.
There we go.
Didn't
That's
that woman
funny.
get a promotion recently?
Well, yeah, I mean, this is when she got promoted to being the head constable.
Right.
So if you need head, you know
I
where to
don't know
go.
why I'm laughing, but that hair and the Trigun thing, it's just so
Yeah.
ridiculous. I'm glad you found that, man.
Mhm. There's your competition. There's that woman with on the side. He held back a laugh seeing the thin man who made up for his scrawny frame by having a giant bushy beard. How in the world can he compete in a chin competition with a head behind fur?
What's going on, man?
The bzzz of clippers he heard, and as he turned, he saw Beard Man start shaving as the grizzled face fur was buzzed off. The skinny man revealed a truly magnificent jawline. Uh-oh. Now, we go into another area. The third act, with, of course, Baron stomping right up onto the garage door, slammed it open, and confronted the large mechanic who had taken the chips from him. He may only come to the man's chest, but still, I'm not that short. Using his full body language to assert dominance and letting his beard bristle, he pointed at the man and declared, "User! Get off my plate! No. You owe me chips!" He held that pose. 75 cents. Yes, that was precisely what Baron was going to do. He could see it clearly in his head. He would storm in, assert his dominance, and the man would whimper and relent. With the mental image in his mind, he stomped up to the door, and it opened. The large mechanic standing there, surprised to see Baron standing at the doorway. Please remember to capitalize the B in Baron next time. TGAP Steve, Big Daddy.
Agreed.
So, how soon till you think my car is ready? Baron asked when the man started to make an inquisitive. To his credit, Baron's voice didn't break or squeak. Will Wangi ever get Mike to accept the sweepstake so they can have a big lunch about it? Or is he fated to have the authors forget that joke ever existed for others in the future? Is Crypto in danger of not having the most magnificent chin in the competition? And is he jealous of men who are able to grow large, burly beards? You know, he is jealous of me. Just want to let you know. When will Baron be able to get out of the garage and take his car home? Or will the shop have to give him the loaner while they special order the parts to fix Baron's boat? Yeah, it's an 87 Yugo. I don't want the loaner. All this and more as Beverly Hills 414 continues. Please stay tuned. And this was brought to you by TGAP's Mercantile. If you're bald down there, please remember, be aware. He can take care of that for you. All natural. Back to you, Mike.
Thank you for that, Baron. And yet another interesting edition of Beverly Hills 414 from TGAP Steve.
Big Daddy.
That's right, Big Daddy. Big Daddy, I don't know what you do before you write these stories, but yeah, it's interesting.
I have an idea. I
have several ideas, but
yeah.
Yeah,
It
a
might
lot
be legal.
of definitely a lot of talk about meat in this one.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, what's up,
worried
Blue?
about
How
that.
you doing, buddy?
You know, I wonder. Is he in a state that it's legal to take that stuff before he writes that? I just want to know.
it could be. It could be.
Yeah, I mean, I think Florida's voting it. You know, so I don't know if he's in Florida. Maybe, you know, he doesn't have to worry about hiding it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I've never asked him, to be honest.
I mean, and basically, I think it kind of comes down to, you know, to this.
Oh my God! Who the hell cares?
Yeah. Mm. Right, Peter.
Okay.
I don't know why Peter broke in like that, but that was kind of rude of him.
Baron.
What?
Are we gonna have to have a long talk after the show?
We always do. There's the Baron chair.
The Baron chair, yes.
A funny story. When I worked in the airlines, we had a lad. He was his family was from Ireland. I think he was from Ireland too, but he moved when he was a kid. He was your typical redheaded, fiery Banty rooster because he wasn't very tall. Great guy though. I really liked him. And he actually had the same name of an actor. I'm not going to obviously dox his name or anything, but he would always get in trouble when we had our the head supervisor, who I swear to God, I honestly do, looks just like Skinner from The Simpsons. He did. I mean, right down to every mannerisms, everything. And he was a twat.
Harry Shearer is a nice guy in person, by the way. So.
Yeah, I know. You met him and you simped for him. So, but he would always get in trouble, and we'd always hear his name called out and then go to the office. So we kind of joked to saying that, what you should do is when you come in, before he does, you should just walk in there, sit down in the chair, and wait for him. Because you're going to be going in there anyways, which was a good laugh. He should have done it. I would have loved to have seen it.
Because here's what would have happened. Oh, good. I'm glad you're here because these are your walking papers.
No, he wouldn't have gotten the walking papers. I mean, he was too good of an employee, and anything he was getting involved in, that being called into the office was it was minor stuff, but irritating. Nothing like running a forklift with a Rolls Royce engine for a Fokker F-27, precariously perched on it, then hitting the brake, stopping in a dime, and watching the engine fly off and crash on the ground. So that gets
right.
It happened. Not that thing I was talking about, but someone did that. You see a lot of things. That's why I don't fly.
Well, we're not going to see, according to the director of the upcoming game Stellar Blade, we're not going to see microtransactions.
Yay! We should have applause.
Will there still be that input lag? That's the question.
Yep. Because that input lag was trouble in the demo, and no, switching it to game mode doesn't help. Because again, like I said the other day, the game will automatically be switched to game mode on the TV when you turn on the console.
Here we have a positive, uplifting story, and Cash had to ruin it. Thank you, Cash.
No, Mike would have probably said it if I could.
Well, thanks for taking heat from him, though. Now he doesn't have to worry about getting heat for, ruining a perfectly good, fine story. You're a good man there, Cash. Really, you are.
This article is by Spencer McCooley. It was posted on Friday, April 5th. And it says, in continuing his seeming use of the Western video game industry's recent failures as a guide as to what to avoid with his upcoming title, Shift Up CEO and Stellar Blade director Hyung-Tae Kim, I hope I said that right.
I think it's Hyung-Tae Kim. I think when you see it like that, that's Win. I know it's funny. It's kind of funny, but yeah, it looks like it might be a Vietnamese name.
Has promised that outside of one very specific and possible instance, the upcoming action title will feature absolutely zero microtransactions. Well, if there's going to be one possible instance, then that statement's false in itself.
True.
Wouldn't you agree?
Well, might be shenanigans there. I mean, a little bait and switch. Just joking.
Kim made his promise to players while speaking on the game's future during a recent interview, as machine translated by DeepL, with Korean video game news outlet RuliWeb. At one point during his time with the outlet, his unnamed interviewer broached the topic of how today's console titles don't do not end. Come on, it's not don't, Mike. It's do not. Do not end with release, as in addition to content updates, including DLC releases. Developers also provide balance patches if necessary. Yeah, well, one of the patches they should add on day one is a patch that addresses the input lag issue. In turn, Kim affirmed, of course, if we accidentally miss something or are lacking something, we will fix it after launch. You already know about the input lag, so you might as well fix it now before
Mhm.
launch on the 26th. Just
Well,
saying.
hopefully they are. Hopefully they are. I mean, cross fingers.
We'll also
Okay.
be working on balance patches to make the game more enjoyable for those who started early so that those who come in later don't experience any inconvenience. We're not sure if we'll be releasing DLC, but we're working on free updates like additional outfits. That's fine and all, but again, I'm going to say it for the last time. Work on the input lag for the controls. The visuals can be as beautiful as you could possibly get them on the current gen consoles,
Right.
but if the controls aren't there, then the game's not worth purchasing. And that's what I look for more in a game now. Anyway, I don't look for visuals eye candy. I look
Mhm.
to make sure that when I'm playing the game, if I press a button, I get response from that button
Mhm.
immediately, and it's not on delay. That's what I look for.
But like Mad Max,
Mhm.
what 9-year-old game still looks pretty and it's got great controls.
Exactly. When I'm playing Mad Max, when I steer the magnum opus to the right, it goes to the right. When I aim for one of the convoys, one of the vehicles in that convoy more specifically, so I can take care of that vehicle and then get to my main target. I have good response time, not only controlling the magnum opus, but also firing the shotgun if I need to fire the shotgun in the game,
Mhm.
or firing a harpoon if I need to fire the harpoon.
Don't
And
say
it
that word
says,
too close to crit.
I know. And the article says, to this end, the game director declared to the public, we want to make it clear at this point that Stellar Blade will not require players to spend any additional money beyond what they paid for the package. Better not. The game's already $70.
Yeah.
And a bit more with tax. Yeah.
I know. I'm just giving a roundabout figure.
Yep.
Well, Cash Money, and he knows all the numbers with the money.
No, but like if it's the digital, it should still be $70. Hopefully, there's not any tax.
If it's the digital, it actually should be less than
I
$70 because
agree. I
they don't
actually,
have to worry about putting it on a shelf,
Mhm.
packaging, or anything
Right.
else.
Shipping.
right.
Yeah, shipping, any paperwork that might be included inside the case, they don't
Mhm.
have to worry about that.
Right.
Their overhead costs are pretty much cut when it's digital.
Right. We were promised that actually. That going all digital for stuff will be cheaper because we don't have all this stuff overhead that we have to do
Mhm.
with the package content. Yeah, tell me more lies. Tell me lies. Tell me sweet little lies. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, albeit understandably, Kim then proceeded to note that despite his best intentions, there does exist one such situation where the shipped up team would require to charge for DLC crossover costumes with other established franchises.
Okay, that's
Well, then
understandable.
that's understandable, but that also makes his headline misleading
Mm-hmm.
because they're saying there probably won't be any microtransactions when this statement
Mm-hmm.
already lets you know, prepare for microtransactions.
Right. This is more, I think, Bounty in the comics' fault than the creator. Because, he's doing the talk. Obviously, he's in the talk, but still they opt to put down there about microtransaction. Sorry, Bounty in the comics. We love you, but, we still call you out.
Says the only exception to this is if we collaborate the other outfits with a third-party IP, those may be sold for free. Clarified the producer. Also, there's no new game plus in the launch version, but stay tuned for that very soon. And aside, given both this suggestion and appealing nature of both titles' protagonists, one wonders if Stellar Blade's Eve could soon find herself donning a frilled black dress of Nier Automata protagonist 2B, which I have yet to play, but I do have it in my library and I am ready to play it.
Nier Automata, those games are pretty tough, man, but you rocked it with the Cuphead, so you'll be fine.
Oh, yeah. Mike needs his pain.
Oh, there's pain in that.
I like to give myself a challenge.
Yes, there is definitely pain in Nier Automata, whatever level you play on. They don't fuck around with that game.
So Mike's going to find out.
He is.
Yeah.
Yes.
And hello to Jet Sparks, who says, sounds like they're just starved for money. So they'll charge you for the digital things, and literally they can just take it away whenever they feel like it.
Mm-hmm.
Also says, yeah, sounds like they're just starved for money. Okay. So finally, Kim explained his attentions from the game's content roadmap to the IP's overall future, asked by Ruly Web whether Shift Up would continue to produce single-player titles with definitive endings, especially in the face of rising development costs across the industry. Kim opined, it is a very acute issue because of the rising development costs in recent years. Honestly, I get a lot of advice from people that I should make games with higher operating margins, but I think what our industry needs more than anything is diversity of titles. Console titles, single player games with endings are very important in their own right, he explained. It's healthier for the market to continue to make these games and for them to coexist with other genres and platforms, which is why Shift Up will continue to take on the console challenge. We have a strong desire to continue to make games that make the average gamer see the ending and return to reality feeling good. Well, yeah. Again, if you make a good game that has good controls, the visuals could be nice, but if there's something wrong with that game's controls, I will definitely say something about it. And I did say something about it when I played the demo. Some might be saying, but Mike, you're being too critical. I'm not being critical. I'm just pointing out something that needs to be fixed while they still can.
Right. The heads up. This is what, in a sense, having a demo like that in some ways is testing it.
Yeah. I was just going to say, if, releasing these demos makes any of us who play the demos, I don't care if it's on console or PC, quote unquote beta testers, then as a beta tester, I'm going to give you feedback and say, this needs to be fixed.
Have there been any articles about that out there? Do you know, Mike, about the controls, or anybody talking about it on the
only article that I've seen, and it was basically the same all the way around, was one that we talked about Wednesday, where they were saying switch your television to game mode and that'll fix the problem. No, that's not a viable solution, especially when, as it's known with modern TVs, they will automatically switch to the game mode when they detect the console.
That's a shame because there should be a little bit more talk amongst, like Bounding and others about that, because that does apply a little bit of appropriate heat. It's like, well, they can't sit back and say, well, we didn't know. Come on. You read the dailies, you read the rags, you read opinion pieces out there. You want feedback, and demos are great for that.
Right.
And there's a problem. Fix it.
Yeah, there's obviously a problem. Some people didn't see it. Like Kilted didn't see it because he just didn't notice it really. He said it just wasn't. I guess he felt it was slow enough and he didn't register. But the funny thing is, you got the one side arguing about how sexualized the character is. They got the other side, even like IGN made IGN France apologize. It's like, but you guys are looking at the wrong part of this game, and especially the demo. You should be looking at the input lag, and you should ask the question, because I don't think Mike's the only one who's had that problem.
No,
I really.
Well, if they had to,
no,
if they did have to address it, there has been.
Exactly.
I mean, Mike's a powerful figure out there, but he's not that powerful yet.
Baron maybe in some alternate universe, but not in this one.
Wait and see.
Oh boy.
It says that current Celebrate is set to twirl, jump, and slash its way exclusively onto PlayStation 5 consoles on April 26th. Gonna look at the comments here real quick and see if anyone else has said anything.
How many from Cash
Money?
None.
Okay.
I don't usually write on here.
And at this time, Tekken 8 suddenly introduces a store with real money prices, despite the fact that fans were previously assured that the small possibility of customization was not caused by the need to motivate people to spend money. Okay, AAA
Bounding the
Gaming is
Comics
burning.
is pretty good with their freedom of speech, I would say. Sometimes they've had, probably censored a few people, but
well, yeah, there's certain things that someone might say you don't want on there. Something that could be, I mean, there's always that CYA, but it's not because you disagree. Yeah.
Right.
Some of the places have it. The rule is if you disagree with us, you're toxic, and we're taking it down. It's like, oh, okay.
Or they just ban you for jokes and stuff and so on. It's crazy. Yeah.
Well, you got to start joking, the Cash. Quit being so serious.
I know, right?
This person right here is saying that leftists and publishers are going to come after Shift Up hard after this. They're already going after Shift Up because of the design of Eve.
Right.
Yes, of course.
They can't handle it.
No, they can't handle that. There's eye candy for the guy. The girls can have all of it they want, but guys have it, and it's like, oh my. What is the game? These games generally aimed for is men, and whether they like it or not, that's basically the type of people that like games like this. Now, yes, you do have a strong following of women in these, but the big thing is they like it. They love dressing up this way. I mean, look at any of the quote unquote cosplays out there and see how they dress up, and it's like. You need to go off and have a cigarette and a cold shower afterwards when you're at these conventions. Or for some of them is like, don't, please don't. But in all seriousness, you look at these girls that do the cosplay, and if you got these characters, as the sexier these girls are, the better for them, because it means that they can make the more outrageous outfits and get the most attention and money because they charge for photos. You have some horn. Yeah, you have some horn dog come by there. I want to pet you with you. It's like, well, keep your hands to yourself and give me $5.
Yep. Well, that's why, like, when the corporations took over and the whole thing, they had those promotions basically of women for the game that was being sponsored, that they would dress up and you would take pictures with them. And then, of course, after what was it? After about 2003, 2000, things started changing, and then you're like, why? Like
Right.
this is just part of. Did the women hate doing this? I doubt it. They were getting
No.
paid, and they looked like they were having a good time. So,
Well, I'm sure it was the diversity director coming in saying, "No, you're being sexist, and this is sexualizing women, and you can't women, you can't do this anymore." Because about that time is when they're starting to get heavy with that bullshit.
and then and they do it with the men too. Who cares? Like if you want to do it, like just make sure it's fair. If you want to do it that way, but no, they're like it has to be this way. It cannot be this way. It's like why can't it be both
Right.
ways?
Yeah, you get men that dress up sometimes pretty, not that I look, but I mean, but look at the dynamics of who's going to these conventions. Honestly,
You can't tell me there's not some guy that hasn't dressed up as Conan at a convention.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, you've had guys dress up as Slave Leia, and the girl they're with dress up as Han Solo.
Right, and it was cosplay. Yeah, I've seen that. It's funny. It's just a joke.
It's funny.
Yeah, it's funny.
Now, should I take offense by that? No, of course not.
No.
I might roll my eyes going, "Oh, you come on," but but in a good natured way, way, you know what I mean? But the thing is, if there's some guy walk around like Conan or even He-Man or Fabio, it doesn't matter. Jason Momoa, trying to get that. It doesn't bother me. Obviously, it doesn't do anything for me, but it doesn't bother me either. It's like, okay, let the girls have fun. But look at the percentiles of who goes to these conventions. I'm sorry, still, the higher percentage is men.
Yes.
And a lot of these girls that's going in for the cosplay are going in to get attention. Go to my Patreon. Go to my OnlyFans after this. Here, have a card for that. And, give me $5 for the picture. And here's a card, and you can get a discount for the first month of my OnlyFans. Or, come to my Patreon, and you get more pictures and more risque pictures.
Yep.
I mean, they know. They're more than happy to, quote-unquote, sexualize. Because many of them know that they're good-looking, and they look good in these outfits. And, a lot of us are lonely. Very lonely.
Baron, do you have to go back to the dinghy? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, I need to go back to the dinghy.
I knew it.
You might have to be left on the island next time.
I think so.
Just leave me with Marianne. I'll be happy.
We'll make sure we leave you plenty of provisions, but maybe you'll have to be left on the island next time.
Yeah.
It's like we gave them 3 months worth of provision, and they were gone in 2 days.
Oh man,
I was hungry.
Ration them out, Baron. Ration them out.
I did. This is for the first day. This is for the second day. Now, where's the rest?
I mean, I haven't been to a convention in a while, but like, I hope that you still take pictures with people. Like, hey, you want to take pictures? Like, it's just a fun thing to do, and and even if you want to dress up, you can dress up as one of these characters and stuff. But of course.
I mean, you got the guys
money, obviously, but all this stuff costs money. So what else is new?
Well, I mean, some people don't. I mean, I've seen pictures of the people with the Space Marines outfits. I don't think they are. It's generally the women that do, the charging, and good for them. No problem. I've seen the pictures and the footage of them at the conventions. But the thing is it's very important, folks. "Quote unquote," sex sells. I'm not talking about pornography.
Right.
I'm talking about the fact that a good-looking woman going out there dressed in some of these outfits is going to get a lot of attention, and that's I don't want to sit back and say that she's being a attention whore or anything, but that's the perfect place to do it. Either that or walk in the streets of Fremont Street with those performers that are dressed up, and and along the strip in Vegas or down in LA, on the stars. That's the other way. Take a picture with me. I'm dressed up this way. See how much money I can get. It's a living.
Yep.
It is. It's a business for them.
Oh, and the sad thing is they shut them down too. When these women step up and say, no, we aren't, it's that typical Karen, blue-haired land whale coming in. Shush, 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 shush. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm here for you. And they shut out because it's not about the women. It's about the blue-haired land whales being the insufferable creatures that they are.
Oh, and there are some people that just don't like to see other people have fun.
No.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
Like
for those people, you know what? I feel sorry for them that they're unable to have any kind of fun.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. They're miserable. Miserable people don't want to build people up. They want to tear people down. And they think they're getting a sense of joy bringing people to their level or worse.
Yep.
And they think they're being happy. It makes them happy, but it doesn't. It's just the fact that you're just being miserable person. When you have people are having good time and fun, I mean, you've been to the convention, Mike. I'm sure you've been to a convention too, Mike.
Yeah.
And, you know, whatever. When everyone's there and having a good time, that's what, you know, it's like, have a beer. It doesn't cost anything, you know, as you go into a room. They want people to have fun. There's a, it's a party atmosphere. And the last thing you want is a Debbie Downer. They want to have fun. This is their chance to cut loose. And you go in there and you start acting like that. It's a fast way to get thrown from the second story into the pool.
When you talk to someone who's dressed up at a convention, I don't care what character it is, but you start having a conversation with them and asking them, how long did it take you to make all this? And some of them, you know, will tell you that it's taken them over a year to get everything right. Some people say, oh, I did it in this short amount of time because maybe it's something they do in their day job.
Right. And
So
the big
doing
thing
it
is
for the convention was a no-brainer.
Right. And I tell you, you ask those questions, you just hit the right button because they want to tell you about how they did this. They are proud of their work. And they do a far better job than Hollywood does in costuming. Well, when they sit back and say,
I've even, you know, been to conventions where people have made their own props based on, you know, screen use, phasers, tricorders, whatever it is, and they've made their own. Or where they take the old Playmates phaser and they really take the time to give it the appropriate look. Or even with the tricorder. I've seen that.
I've seen people take those Nerf guns and turn them into bolters from Warhammer 40K.
Because for those people, when they look at something like a Nerf gun, they're not seeing the Nerf gun. They're seeing the bolt gun.
Right. What can I do to make it look that way and still function? Because I want to shoot somebody with my Nerf gun. And I want to look cool doing it. I mean, you see these ladies out. Oh, sorry, go on.
When you see people take the time to, you know, create their own Darth Vader costume instead of buying one, you know, you could tell that they took a lot of pride in it. When you see somebody at a convention and they made their own Starfleet uniform, and you just see them beaming with pride. You don't even have to talk to them sometimes. They're walking the showroom floor and they're smiling because everybody is looking at their costume.
Right. You feel like you're in Starfleet.
Yeah.
As someone who did wear Starfleet, I didn't make it, but I had custom made ones made for me because at the time, in fact, that was one of the first ones to be out there was the third season uniform. And just going off of the pattern for the we had for the first two seasons and pictures. and the person took it and turned into a third season next gen outfit. It's like, yeah, I was going out there and I was kind of going, hey, look at me, I'm the captain. Yeah.
I
How's that
I
for that?
actually bought my red Next Generation tunic at a Star Trek convention
Mm-hmm.
and kept wearing it to every other convention I went to.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's fun to do that. It's fun to interact with your fellow fan and just,
Mm-hmm.
talk about what we love.
Right. So the talk about all this nonsense about sexualizing all this. Well, talk to the ladies that dress up that way willingly and happily.
Mhm.
And why you ask them the question of what did you do to get this to be this way, and the work they put into it before you start opening your mouth about
Well,
sexism.
you didn't get this detail correct. You didn't get that detail correct. Well, let's just give them credit for the fact that they took the time to get it as close to screen accurate as possible.
Right.
I mean, I guess
I
I
mean,
been at a convention, but I haven't actually seen it yet. I would hope I wouldn't see that. That's just fucking rude.
I mean, if you go there and say, hey, I know this part, but I know a place that can improve that. They want tips. If you approach it that way, they have no problem because you're not criticizing them. It's like sometimes certain things are hard to get, and people, especially in the old days before the internet. I know a place that can do this. Oh, really? Okay, we can get that. You can get that, and it's going to be pretty cheap for them to do that for you. Or get that particular piece to look that way.
Or going to a convention and someone's dressed up as a member of the Borg.
Mm-hmm.
And it's their own idea of what this particular Borg drone would look like.
Right. I know there was a Star Trek group that was going around, and they were wearing Starfleet uniforms from the Wrath of Khan, because at that time, I think we got up to Star Trek 3. We hadn't had any other films, but we call it, of course, the Monster Maroon. But they sat back and came up with a mythology that after the Genesis device went off, all the uniforms in Starfleet turned black. So the Monster Maroons were all black uniforms now, and with the vision colors. And some of us are kind of rolling our eyes about it, but it still looked good. Still look good. I mean, it's like, okay, we're not agreeing with your mythology, but that's fine. It doesn't matter with us. It's it's what makes you happy.
Exactly. And why can't we be happy for the fact that other people are having fun at the convention and enjoying themselves?
Well, I know the one thing that really made me happy at a convention, we have one called MiniCon here. It was kind of a prestigious convention, at least at one time. I don't know what the state of it is now. Kind of a snotty group. It's like we only want, now they don't want media, except books are media. But we didn't call it cosplay, but costume, the costume parade. And the one group came through, and the one lady, because in the whatever book it was, I can't remember, didn't have a top. She was walking down there through their topless. It's like, okay, I can get into this. They got into trouble for it, but
I could imagine.
But, yeah, but I mean, for me, it's like I see no problem.
Oh, say you weren't having a good time at the convention, then all of a sudden your interest in the convention peaks up.
Right? It's like Hooters, like Al Bundy, Hooters.
No, ma'am.
Yeah, they weren't pagans, but they're still Hooters.
Okay. Moving on to our next story, we have from Bound in the Comics by, again, Spencer McCooley, and again, posted on Friday the 5th. Visions of Mana producer refuses to change series identity for Western audiences. It is best to deliver the game based on the developer's creative vision.
Yay.
In adding his voice to the ever-growing chorus of Japanese creatives who are refusing to compromise their artistic endeavors for Western sensibilities, Square Enix Mana series producer Masaru Oyamada, again, I'm sorry if I'm butchering that name. I do apologize.
Animata, I don't know. I'm not even going to help. I'm not going to try.
Has declared that rather than bringing in new fans by changing the action RPG line's core identity, he hopes to do so by celebrating those elements which have made it popular in Japan for a long time. Oyamada, I'm just going to try it like that,
Mm-hmm.
who has served in his position since 2009, the 2009 port Secrets of Mana, made clear his disinterest in chasing a wider audience during a March 2024 interview with video game news website Automation.
Oyamada is correct, Mike. So you're good.
Okay.
You know, Cash is our anime expert, Japanese expert here. You weeb.
Amidst a larger discussion of the creative direction he and his team would be taking with the upcoming visions of Mana, Oyamada was at one point pressed by the outlet as to whether or not he had seen a difference in the reactions to the announcement of the series' next entry between Japanese and overseas players. In Japan, there are many people who have been playing the series for a long time and are familiar with the IP's history, so the reaction has been half expectant and half anxious, the producer told the outlet. On the contrary, overseas players showed a lot of curiosity about the game and what it entails, including if it would be available on platforms that they own. The difference between the reactions is somewhat interesting. From there, Oyamada was asked if he had any plans as to how you'd like the Mana series to reach out to Western gamers in the future, to which he asserted, I get the feeling that many people who picked up Secret of Mana in 1993, at the time it came out, were young like I was, because I regularly receive feedback from people who play the latest entries through the lens of their childhood experiences with the series. I hope that they grow older and become parents. They will recommend the Mana series to their children and tell them about how fun it is. The unique atmosphere and design might make some people feel that it is a bit childish, he added. However, these are the strengths of the Mana series. Rather than changing these features that make the Mana series, I hope that new players will come to like these games that have been popular in Japan for a long time for what they are. Now that's refreshing news.
Well, very much so. Bravo. Bravo. And they shouldn't be.
Mhm.
They shouldn't be. Isn't it amazing that the group of people that sits back and tell us that we have to be more worldly and understanding the different cultures and all that? But then you have like these, you know, somebody coming from Japan, which obviously is a different culture. It's not America on in the Orient. You know, it's like no, they have their own customs, everything. Just asked what's his Paul, you know, whatever the hell his name is, when he was running around making a complete total ass of himself, and the Japanese politely told him, "Don't come back again." So we're being told by them, but they want to change it if it comes over. We got to change it to our sensibilities here. Why? This is a different culture. This is a different game. Aren't you wanting to have an immersive experience where you're experiencing something new to you because you're not It's something that you're not used to, right?
That's true.
That's what I want. Part of the escapism sometimes is to leave completely our quote unquote sensibilities. Why not something that's get offered to us from a different culture?
It's funny too because games like Secret of Mana or Secret of Mana, other Japanese RPG games, like there was of course that article, and this all goes along with it, that well, the Western media, a number of them, were bashing these games, Japanese RPG. Oh, this is horrible. This is this and that. And that's why, of course, it started the trend of over in Japan. Like, I don't want them to be called Japanese RPGs. And yet it's not supposed to be an offensive thing. It's just like, but you don't change these things that people want to do. And I don't think it's just Japan. There's going to be some people in the West that are going to say, you know what, I'm done. Like, I'm not going to follow your so-called bullshit formula on social media. I'm going to do what I want to do. And even Square Enix has gotten themselves in trouble with things like Forspoken and other stuff. It's like, what were you guys thinking? So, they just need to go with their vision and just keep with that.
Well, the big question is, were you selling when it was not changed for Western sensibilities? Yes or no? Obviously, the answer is yes. Did you start suffering when you decided that you had to change it, or was told you had to change it for modern sensibility? Was there backlash? Was there complaint? Did it not succeed as much? There's your answer. It doesn't matter what these rags write about. Don't listen to them.
Exactly. Yeah.
It comes down to people like Cash who plays them, and others. And yeah, I mean, expect for it to get called Japanese RPG, just like you had. Well, we call it Jap animation, but now it's anime or manga. Where we do have that identifier that this is Japanese.
Yes.
It's actually a plus now. Don't think of it as a slight, a slur, or putting it into over their category. On the contrary, it makes people sometimes gravitate towards you even more. It's like, oh, we know this is quality,
right?
And isn't that what you want? Something that people know that is quality, that draws other people to it, because those same people that have been playing the game for years are telling their friends, their family, their neighbors, hey, you got to play this series. And even if the person says, yeah, but it looks too kiddie, it's like, no, give it a shot.
Yes.
Right.
You may end up liking it.
Right. I mean, Mike, honestly, how many times does Cash tell us we got to start playing these Japanese RPGs?
He's recommended some to me.
Yeah.
To start playing. And
right. I'm not saying that to bash or make fun of you, Cash, but you're someone who loves these things, and what do? You want to spread that out there. It's like, hey, Mike Barron, not Mike Barron, but Mike and Barron. You gotta try this game. You gotta try some of these Japanese RPGs. These are really great.
Yep. Right. I'm always usually pushing that. I mean, I've been playing many of them for a long time. And if you want to go on quite an adventure with a lot of interesting characters and cool monster fights and turn-based strategy and all kinds of stuff, then those are definitely Final Fantasy old ones, Secret of Mana and different other ones, Dragon Quest, Dragon Warrior.
And what's important is some of these monsters you're dealing with is not what you're used to.
Yeah. And, I'm still recommending Evil West to you guys. I'm saying, you guys got to play it. It's fun.
It scares me. I'm not kidding either. It kind of scares me. It's like, I'm gonna get my ass handed. It's like, okay, I gotta figure out what skill and the skill set and all that. It's like, well, all the death that Mike had, it scares me.
Well, I mean, we mentioned Mad Max earlier.
Right.
2015. It's a 9-year-old game, but that game's still fun. And even Gabstab, who I know from Rumble, said the other day, he says, man, this game 9 years old and it still looks good.
Yeah.
And
I am
it plays
surprised.
good.
Mm-hmm. And it's not that expensive.
No.
It's not.
You don't need to go out there and wait for a sale because the thing's already isn't it like $6?
I can look it
Like
up
that?
on Steam right now. Let me.
Yeah, you probably can get it up faster than me. But I know I got it for a ridiculously low cost. It was my first Steam purchase, so obviously that game has a little bit of a spot in my heart. But then getting in there and playing the game, oh my freaking word! You know, I felt like Mel Gibson out there.
It's a solid
Okay.
game.
Yeah,
It's $19.99 right now. $20.
Oh, $19.99. Okay. I got it for like $5. It was on sale. But even then, $20 for that game. I highly recommend that one for everybody. If you like driving, fighting, apocalypse. Oh, it's driving in California.
That could be driving anywhere nowadays.
Yeah,
true.
some are worse than other places, but yeah.
Long suffering almost got lost in a pothole. Just kind of appeared and was going to try to suck her in, but kind of like a sarlacc, and she managed to get around. So. Yeah. Honestly. Kill the man.
So this article
With a
goes on
trident.
to say, then asked by Automation if his declaration meant that he was taking care not to let your series identity become westernized. Oyamada ultimately affirmed, I think the visuals of the Mana games are a distinctive characteristic. Therefore, it is best to deliver the game based on the developer's creative vision. For example, there are many different types of characters in the Mana series. He concluded, I think the fun of the game is encountering this mysterious world and its inhabitants. And because of that, we don't have a strong focus on a particular audience. However, we do work on the game while bearing in mind that the Mana series is loved by fans from all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
At current, Visions of Mana is set to fight its way onto all consoles bar the Nintendo Switch sometime this summer. You know what? It's good to see that there are creators, developers, designers who are sticking to their guns and saying, no, this doesn't need to be changed. It's good as it is.
Bravo. Yeah.
People have loved it because of reason A, B, C, and D. Why are we going to take A out? Why are we going to take B out? C or D?
Mm-hmm. It must be kind of amazing. Like, my word, there's somebody in Poland that likes a group that loves in Poland. Look at this. Their sales are good over there, and of course the States. And it's got to be kind of mind blowing sometimes for them to see where exactly they have around the world besides Japan that's experiencing it, especially a place that's not part of their culture. It's so don't change it.
When I was playing, and when I was playing the recent Tomb Raider games, especially Rise of the Tomb Raider, I had people from different parts of the world tuning into the streams because they love those games so much.
Exactly.
When I was playing Cuphead, because of how well that game was designed, the fact that all the characters were hand drawn.
That
people
part still gets
were
me.
tuning in because they loved that game. Wasn't because of my gameplay. It's because of their love for the game.
That way, they didn't feel so bad when they died all the time too. It's like, hey, he's got the same problem I do.
Well, yeah, you mentioned that. I have watched some videos after completing the game going, okay, so they had trouble at that part too. I'm not the only one.
There's that seeking of a common individual, the common connection there. The only one. Okay, now I feel better. I'm going to continue on this game. If he can do it, I can do it.
So the game treated you like it owned you at this part too. Good to know.
Mm-hmm. And boy, did it own you.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, getting back to Evil West when I was getting to the later levels, yeah, there were parts that were kicking my butt,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't give up.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I got to the final boss and realized I wasn't going to beat the final boss with the skill sets I had, so I took the time to go back through the game and develop better skill sets so I could beat the final boss.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's
Easy
the
mode would
thing,
have done that.
as someone who plays games, you figure things out.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You don't give up.
Nope.
No.
But it's
Exactly.
good to know that there are still companies out there, individuals out there who say, no, the recipe for this game calls for these ingredients. Guess what? They're staying in there.
Well, that's because right now we're in a current culture that everyone thinks everything should be the same. I mean, look how they homogenize Star Trek, Star Wars, even Doctor Who. They've lost a lot of their own identity and been mushed into the kind of the same little gruel that they wouldn't even serve in 1984 because it's so bad. And it's like, no, everything's got its identity, whether it's in the States here, in our various various franchises, or whether it's coming from another place. I mean, how many games are coming in from overseas? Fat Shark, which one is that? Isn't that like Polish or something like that? I can't remember.
It might be,
But it's from Europe, right? So you
Mhm.
got someone from mainland Europe taking a game that was designed on British Isles and then being distributed around the world where everyone's enjoying it, and it's got its own thing. Does anybody out there want to change Space Marine to fit that homogenized goo? No.
No. I wouldn't even change Vermintide too
Mm-mm.
for
No.
any reason.
Except making it harder because of cash.
Yeah. Who is 10 levels higher than the rest of us?
The
I'm
game
catching
was
up. I'm
punishment
about
with
600 now.
implied.
Mhm.
Well, it's just it's every other one. It's the I just some of these Western developers, like I want Naughty Dog to be great again. Like I know that
Mhm.
sounds funny, but I do, because Uncharted 1, very good game. Uncharted 2, yeah, there were some minor problems, but still overall a very good game. Uncharted 3, I think, is still a great game. Uncharted 4, a great game. I know that they can do this stuff, but they're so influenced by social media and people that they hire that
Mhm.
they just keep going this wrong direction, and then they blame the fans when this stuff keeps failing.
Right, the consultant.
Right now, like, Naughty Dog is just basically doing remasters of, like, The Last of Us, and then the Last of Us 2, and I think that's still to come out on PC, but um uh, they just they don't really have a good direction. And
Mhm.
however you feel about Neil Druckmann, I think a lot of it has to do with him. Uh, because people, where's the faction stuff, like the multiplayer stuff that people liked in The Last of Us, like the first game? They don't have this, so miss opportunities again, and then they cancel it. Oh, we didn't want to do that. Okay, what are you guys going to do next then?
Mhm.
So yeah, I just don't understand it. Sega's had these problems, even the Dreamcast. Like, you can just go down the list of all this stuff, and it's like console players all the time. They'll tell you, here's the greatness. Okay, well, once again, where is the greatness? Like, there's
Mhm.
some interesting games, but, like, where is the greatness? Even
Mhm.
Insomniac games, they used to be great. And I'm like, are they going to find more of a better direction again? And then you find out, oh, well, I guess Spider-Man 2 was a big success. Oh, wait, what was their budget? 300 million? Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Why?
Right. Exactly. Why? Yeah. Why?
What you need to do is get a red cap and have it specially made to say "Make Naughty Dog great again."
That's right. That's right.
That'll get people's attention.
Right. So they can do all this stuff, but it's funny because you feel like over the years, even when you were a little kid, what were you buying? Well, it was probably stuff from Japan. Bought Nintendo, even though there's Nintendo of America, but you were buying stuff a lot from Japan. Sony, just
Well,
and Microsoft is obviously an American company, but even Microsoft is like, what are you guys doing? Like, we had some recent articles, and it's like, are a lot of these different developers now, they just want to keep pissing off their customer base? Like, it's
Right.
crazy.
It
Like,
sure
you can
seems like
do
it.
this. Yeah, it does.
yeah.
And the Battlefront thing is just another example of like, where are we going? So you guys going to keep your vision, or are you going to change your vision? Like, even Ron, was it Ron Gilbert, the guy who creates Monkey Island, Return to Monkey Island and stuff? It's like, do you understand why people were upset about the art style? It's like, dude, this art style was better. Like, but this all goes with the same stuff. Why change this? Why don't you ask the fans, what do you guys think about this before you actually release it?
Well, the problem is they have their consultants.
Right.
We're going to listen to our consultants. They do want to make a lot of these do want to make a good game, but then they get these consultants like a certain company that's name is similar to a great barbecue sauce. And they come in and we'll fix it for you. Oh, really? You're fixing it like you're fixing a cat. It's not going to have babies.
Right.
I.e., you're not going to get people coming to buy your game.
Yep.
And that's the thing. Yeah, these companies do want, these designers do want to. But when you have these consultants and supposed experts that come in and say, well, we got a finger on the pulse here, and this is what you should do. But, the game isn't, no. You got to do it this way, or no, you got to keep up with the times, man. No, what you need to do is get back to your series Bible or your gaming Bible that you have all set up, that this is how the game and the mythology is going to go of whatever it is, right? Star Trek, Star Wars, Double Dragon. It doesn't matter. And just go back to that basics. And how can we take these basics and make it even better?
Right. And yeah, and they forget about even their franchises. Like, okay, you guys have WoW for Activision Blizzard. Why don't you guys fix the problems with Reforge or make a new Warcraft strategy game? Why don't you ask the fan base, would you guys like this? And then you guys thought about doing like a first-person shooter with StarCraft. That could have been cool.
Yeah.
But why not give it a try? I don't know. All the Western developers, a lot of this stuff, even Square Enix, even the Japanese, they make these mistakes. And maybe not as many, but where is all this greatness once again? Like, I'm just waiting for it. I want to see if it comes back. There's some interesting games, but last few years especially, like, where is all this greatness? Like, I want Stellar Blade to work out for people, but if that input lag is something they're not going to fix and they're just going to make excuses about that right there is going to end up being a problem for a lot of people.
And like you said, Cash, I would love for Stellar Blade to be a success if they fix the input lag, because I think that game will be a tremendous success if word of mouth gets around. You got to buy this game. It's a great game. The combat system is great. The visuals are part of it, but when you get into this game, you're immersed into this world, and you can customize your different outfits, and depending on what outfit you're wearing, you either have a good skill set, or maybe you weaken Eve in some way. But unfortunately, as it stands right now with the demo, the controls need work.
Right.
And I'm hoping they do fix that. I mean, hopefully they are listening on that one.
And wasn't like RoboCop? Wasn't that game a Western developer? I don't know.
I'm
not sure about that, but yeah.
But at least it got fixed before it came out on the market, and that's good.
Right.
And I hope that's going to happen with this. I mean, they need to listen to the actual fans and the actual forums and the debates back and forth to see, what people are talking about than your consultants and these land whales that want to go on Twitter and bitch and moan.
Right.
Those, they're not your constituents. They're not your fan base. They haven't bought your product and they never will. Right. Why capitulate to them? Why? It makes no sense.
I know.
I mean,
no, it doesn't. It absolutely doesn't.
Right. It's like all they're doing is giving you that rope to hang yourself. That's all.
The developer for RoboCop was Teon, and the publisher was Nacon.
Okay.
I really need to get into that game. Oh, I don't know what's holding me back. I better do it. Sometimes I'm afraid I'm going to get too lost in it. And like 3 days later, I'm still there and looking even scruffier than I am now.
There's no problem getting lost in that game, and
I know.
I don't mean getting lost as you're, trying to find things in the game. I mean actually getting immersed in as you're hearing the music build up, and you're battling the enemies. You're seeing different references to the original RoboCop, RoboCop 2, RoboCop 3, and you're just hearing Peter Weller as RoboCop. And you start going, I'm RoboCop, damn it.
Right. You want
Dead
that
or alive, you're coming with me.
Yeah, you say that every time before we start a show. Dead or alive, coming with me. Showtime. That should be your mantra before we start a show. Dead or alive, come with me. I like that. But that's just it. That's what you want. That's what people want, is total immersion. To be not themselves for once. For this,
right?
And it's called escapism. We're playing, we're adults, but we need playtime too. Just don't let it overtake you.
Unfortunately, that happens too.
Right. I mean, my big beef is with Starfield. You have a great platform here. You got a great way to really expand this world, right? Besides modders, don't rely on modders to do everything for you, right? Get vehicles in there. Get what I basically say modules. You don't have to necessarily follow the main story, but you can go on a side quest thing, a side story, and that can be your adventure. And get those out. Just like Star Trek Online, for whatever faults that has, at least they try to put out quote unquote seasons and storylines to keep you coming back. I mean, just the chance to punch Wesley Crusher as in the Mirror Universe that's worth the price of admission right there.
And Starfield, when it comes to that, I think the space combat and the controls when you're flying your ship, I think they're flawless. It's the ground combat controls that I have an issue with.
Yeah,
honestly.
I mean, and of course, I know people want that game to fail because it's Bethesda or crazy fanboys with Sony, but still, they could do so much more with that game, and they haven't. Like ground vehicles, like you have to have ground vehicles on those planets because they're not, besides the facilities, unless they've added something else, but you need those ground vehicles because you want to go around the planet, and they need to add more to the planets. They need to give some more people opportunities to do more things in the game. And considering Fallout 4, however you feel about it, I still think it's a solid game.
Yeah.
And Elder Scrolls 6 is going to it has a lot to live up to because of how much people love Skyrim.
Right.
A lot.
Right. I mean, when you talk about the vehicles, it's like, honestly, as someone who grew up in, the tail end of the big space race with Russia, who wouldn't want to go around on a little buggy on the moon? Like,
Yeah,
we saw.
exactly. Yes.
I mean, that'd be great. It's like all of a sudden this little moon buggy, wing, wing, you're going across there. I mean, and you gotta watch and see about the, do we have enough power? So we don't want to go too far because, you go off the fact, yeah, it needs to be refueled or whatever. Put that factor in maybe, but still put it in there.
Mm-hmm.
Have fun with it. Put a twist on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I just don't understand. Like, what would you like to see on since you've played Starfield more than Mike and I'm sure of that, Baron, put more hours into it. What would you like to see on the planets themselves?
Well, definitely.
Besides the facilities that you do see.
Right, facilities.
You definitely need ground vehicles like we've been talking about to get from point A to point B. Maybe, some different weapons or different tools that you can use.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe when you go in there with the worlds and such, you have a way to start making them even more diverse than what we got. I mean, how many worlds have we been going to, and they're barren rocks?
Right.
But what if you start putting into like little modules with exploration, and you find lost cultures from Earth?
Right. Aliens that you fight, like actually on the planet, you do some other jobs, not just ones that you pick on Earth, but on other planets that there's like, hey, you want to do this job, and it's like a shady job or something like that.
Right.
And it could be pretty cool while you're running around with your buggy, or even your buggy, you've got missions to do. That's what they did in stuff like Red Dead. What was it? Red Faction. But Red Dead also, they had those kind of missions. But just to add more, because those are the kind of things we had in Fallout, since this is supposed to be more like a Fallout in space, which is not bad, but there needs to be just more to it. More stuff in the space combat. I think there's potential, but what have they done lately? This game's been out in a year at least? Something
at least
longer?
a year.
It'll be a year in September.
Right, so being a year, so it's getting there.
You should have a division there that's making up new, interesting RPGs to throw in there, new equipment, new ships, right? New modules for the ships to fit into a different gameplay with exploration. We'll go Lord British on it. And what I mean by that was when he came out with the Ultima series, he wanted to have a true D&D experience on the computer, but not everything is combat. It's like, can we do RPG where you had to do negotiations, where that's going to be the most important thing you do. So it's like, oh no, I want to blow up stuff. It's like, no, if you want a full immersive, you could turn this into literally Traveler. Your version of Traveler, where you're tooling around, you're being either a space trucker with cargo, if you go to a career like that, explorer, a scout, and just expand off of it, and then start making more regions out there. And you're going further along, you start finding like lost colonies and from Earth, and maybe they have abandoned the planet, and you can get involved with them, and maybe they are at war with someone, or you need to negotiate so they don't blow your butt up. Whatever. This game has the potential to do this. They should have had these things on the burner right away and be able to, have at least some of that out by now. But the lackluster is not the platform, it's the developers.
Right. Where is something like freeing hostages on a planet? I don't think any of that's on there. Where's other stuff about if you pick this option, just like with Fallout New Vegas and games like that, even Skyrim, that there can be consequences, or maybe they like what you did. And then there's some gang that breaks out, and then you have to either kill them or you have to do something else.
Well, you do have a hostage situation in there where the one bank
Okay.
is being robbed on the planet. But the
Mhm.
thing is you need to have the skills in that area to be able to coerce. Other than that, it turns into a gunfight. Believable, right?
Definitely.
So it starts making you think, okay, where else should I start putting my skills other than going out there and blowing stuff up, right?
Right.
Maybe getting some of these social skills and such is a good idea.
Yeah,
Uh,
and maybe doing some scientific endeavors to upgrade your ship
mhm,
is a good idea too.
right.
I agree. And from those planets, get stuff to upgrade your ship, and then you can have
Mhm,
cooler ships. Like there's just I I, I just laugh. It's just even stuff like Sea of Thieves. Like I think it's a good game, but once again, I just think there's some things that are missing for the mission. But it's why can't we do more customization?
Oh,
I don't know any if I remember you can do a lot with your ship. I think you can
mhm,
do a good deal, but I don't know
yeah,
how cool you can actually make your ship. Pretty cool, but I think it's
yeah.
just the ground stuff that needs a lot more. When you go to
Mhm.
these planets, they're just too barren.
Oh yeah,
But
and character
yeah,
creation. They
mhm,
should do more body shapes for everybody on
agreed,
there.
agreed.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you have a woman
Because there's
and she
all
wants,
different kinds of body types in the
right,
real world. Let's
Hmm.
face
yeah.
it,
I
there
mean,
are.
yeah. If you have a woman who's playing this game and she's busty in real life and says, "I want to be busty in the game," you should give her that option. Or you
Yep,
get people like us that go, "I want to have a busty woman running around out there, humma,
right.
and want to be
And
like Al Bundy." It doesn't matter, it's
right,
uh,
and if you give the option for because you want it or because Microsoft's owned by Bethesda, if you really want to do some of that pandering stuff, fine, but give people options who don't want to do that. That's all I would ask with that stuff. Just give people more options. You
mhm.
want customization? Give people good options.
Again, quit listening to your consultants in the Twitter twats out
Hmm.
there
Right,
and go out there and listen to what people like us are saying because we don't want to see it fail.
right, exactly.
I don't have a horse in this fight when it comes around. Oh, it's Bethesda. I don't. I mean, I obviously I got New Vegas and 4 after whatever problems there might have been with them
Hmm.
been fixed, and they've been enjoyable experiences. I think New Vegas over 4, but 4 is still fun and fun to play. You know, that's what you need to do. Listen to
And
Exactly.
us.
Hmm.
real quick, I do want to say hello to somebody, but before I say hello, I'm going to play a clip because I will be on his channel this Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time talking about this movie.
One shall stand, one shall fall. Why throw away your life so recklessly?
Hello to
You know,
Pops.
mhm. And to answer that, there, Pops, yeah, I like playing women characters in games. I really do. Not because of any secret fetish or anything, other than the fact, if I'm going to be a third person shooter and I'm going to be seeing a butt moving around, I don't want to see a guy's butt. No, really. It's
All
like,
good.
but in all seriousness, too, it's like, just like we sat back and said, if you have a woman character and that woman character is strong in the right areas and there's a purpose behind it, always more than, we want our Ripleys, we want our Leias, we want our uh,
Yeah, absolutely.
whoever it might, Colonel Deering's, in the first season, that is, not the second season, when all she was a basically a barmaid. But even in the pulp novels, the first ones that came up, Wilma Deering was a badass. We want that. Again, it's escapism. We want to see something different.
It's
I like
true.
butts.
And
You
speaking of
know.
escapism, people seem to be enjoying Godzilla Con.
Hmm. Do they have that
Yes.
forbidden child yet?
Not that kind of love, Baron.
God.
I swear, dude. It's just
This is
There,
from Deadline. It's by Anthony D'Alessandro. And it says, even better than expected results for legendary Warner Brothers Godzilla Con The New Empire, with a second weekend of 31.7 million after a second Saturday of 13.8 million.
Hmm.
And it says the twosome are beating their chest to 10-day 135 million total.
Wow.
In second place was Universal's Monkey Man, kept steady toward a 10.1 million opening after 3.5 Saturday and Friday previews. If you think about it, even though this is much greater than any Bollywood film as we know it, it's on the high end of where movies from Indians audience is typically open. As a point of reference, Animal, which was a big bloody Hindi action movie last year, opened at 6.5 million. Typically, the audiences for Bollywood movies come out in the first weekend, sorry, and then fall apart in weekend 2. It will be interesting to see if Monkey Man has any legs off its B+ cinema score.
Okay, that answered my question because I've never heard of this Monkey Man before. But it's a Bollywood thing.
Yeah, it's right. It's the actor from Slumdog Millionaire and.
Okay. I've been noticing that just like South Korean dramas, Bollywood stuff is starting to become more and more popular. Gee, I wonder why.
People are looking for something that's not Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of Hollywood, Sony's Ghostbusters Frozen Empire owns third place with 9 million and a running total of 88.8 million in weekend number 3 here domestically.
Mm-hmm.
It is trailing 13% behind Ghostbusters Afterlife. Keep in mind the predecessor was boosted by its play over the Thanksgiving weekend. Well, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire had potential, had promise, but it, in my opinion, especially after thinking about it 2 days after coming out of the theater and giving it, the 7.5 score that I initially gave it, and then a couple days later giving it the 6.5 score because I really did think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I felt that there was a drop off with the characters, primarily Phoebe, and the movie has issues. It does.
The game is great, but the movie, the new one that came out. But my question, I don't think I heard you comment on this, Mike. How was Bill Murray in this? Because we were commenting with the previews. It looked like he was back in top form.
I mean, he's not even in it that much. I think he's got, maybe 2 or 3 scenes at the most?
Really? Oh.
Yeah. And it's good to see Lester San Jose, the Skeptic Tank, who says, I was on a Bollywood kick for a period of time during the Rona. Yeah. And I believe you did some reviews of some Bollywood films too.
Mm-hmm.
And he says about Monkey Man, Jordan Peele saw Monkey Man and got more money behind it, so Universal would put it in theaters. Well,
it was good. And that's the thing. You have these megaplexes, 16 theaters in there, but they're only showing like so many films over because they just want to be able to cattle them in, cattle them out, which isn't necessarily working. So, this starts at this time, the same movie, but different times. Use some of these theaters to bring in films like this, films from other countries, films that wouldn't necessarily get much play, or you'd have to go into the bad neighborhoods to the art house theaters, and your feet are sticking to the floor, just to see something that's interesting, dare I say, art film or whatnot, or a foreign film. they should start opening the Cineplexes up a little bit more to that. I hate to use this word, but I'll use it anyways. Diversity.
They should.
Mhm.
But the thing is, I don't believe they are.
No. I mean, I remember when they were talking about that. Oh, we're going to have all this. More theaters means we can have more movies in there. And the Edina 1, 2, 3, 4 theater went to see a movie, and what did I see on the marquee? Theater 1, 2, and 3, Mission Impossible, and then of course in the film we're going to see. It's like, why have all these theaters and play just the same freaking movie, just at different times?
Yeah, I mean, even though my theater here only has 10 auditoriums, they'll have more show times for one particular movie than they'll have for another. It's like when the Marvels was coming out, they had more show times for that than anything.
Right.
Yeah.
And and of course we all know how people are coming out in droves. How is that helping the theaters who make some money off of popcorn pops, jujubes, milk duds? Let's go on the lobby. Mike and his nachos. Nacho, man. I mean, if they're not coming to see the movies,
what can I say? When I go to the movies, I have to get a thing of nachos. I don't always have to get jalapenos on them, but I have to get a thing of nachos.
Ooh, I like jalapenos. Yeah. I mean, that's the lifeblood there. So you have more diversity of movies, you might start getting more people in and getting those nachos and popcorn. I mean, for me, it's still an alien thought to get nachos at a theater. Really, it honestly is. I love my popcorn.
Oh, I like movie theater popcorn too, but I also like it in my nachos, and sometimes I like it in pretzel bites and junior mints and.
Right. This is the lifeblood.
And yes, when they have them, they don't always have them when I go. When they have Reese's Pieces, I do get them.
Wouldn't it be a shame if they had the ET back in the theaters and no Reese's Pieces available at the?
That would be a shame. It's like, what the? You got ET back in the movie theaters, and there's no Reese's Pieces for me to purchase and eat. What do you think I'm going to open the package and leave a trail of Reese's Pieces?
Yeah. I mean, and look at that. That movie basically made Reese's Pieces, and all because M&M turned their nose up and saying, "No, we don't want to use our product in there." And it's like, well, we got this Reese's Pieces over here. And he said, hey, we got Reese's Pieces. Boom. Instant success overnight. All because of a little funny alien.
Elliot.
What was who did that one? Elliot, I'm standing on my testicles. I can't remember which comedian did that one. Was it Eddie Murphy? I can't remember. It was Eddie Murphy, but it was somebody back in that day.
And then the first Omen that made 8.4 million. Kung Fu Panda came in fifth with 7.8 million, and it has 166 million total. So obviously, people still love seeing the Kingdom Monsters and the Big Ape terrorize towns, and you can't blame them. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to see this new Godzilla versus Kong, the new Empire, or not. I haven't really made up my mind. And part of that is because the first one, I'm sorry, I wanted the humans eliminated from the movie. Like, no, I want to see Kong and Godzilla. I don't want to see any humans.
Right. Maybe they fixed that. I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, I hope. But yeah, that's what you want. You want to see smash, smash, smash.
I want to see those two fight. I want to see the two kaiju rumble.
Yeah, I don't want to see a town, a metropolis devastated because you have superheroes fighting every freaking film. I want to see big monsters doing that.
I mean,
Oh
honestly,
no, there goes Tokyo, go Godzilla.
well, Godzilla -1. One of the reasons why I liked it is because it did focus on the humans, but it also didn't ignore its title character,
Right.
Mhm.
Godzilla.
Yeah, it was a
Right.
great movie. Yes.
Which is what the films are about. I mean, yeah, you do have the human element in there, but when it comes down to it, I want to see Godzilla smash.
Yeah. But I definitely agree with Mike. I enjoyed the
I
human element of that. The
I want to
story,
see him use his
the
atomic breath
sadness
and destroy stuff.
around the time
Mhm.
of World War II and
Hmm.
just about the end of it. Yeah.
Well, Cash liked it because it was the sequel to Oppenheimer. So.
Well, speaking of which, I did see an article saying that Oppenheimer is supposedly coming out to Japanese theaters now.
Really?
Well, again,
Let me see if I
Like-
can. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
well, it's just like I was back saying before. Things like this shouldn't be, held back. I mean,
No.
this story is as important to the Japanese people as it is the American people, right? And I don't think in any way, shape, or form they're glorifying what happened,
No.
and that's the
Yeah.
big difference.
I did find the article and it's on Deadline. So let me. I'm not going to read it or anything, but I just
Yeah.
want to show folks that I'm not talking out of my ass.
I believe you, and I'm happy that it is.
I can scroll down as far as when it's going to be released in Japan, but I'm not actually going to read the article itself.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Okay, so it's already out in cinemas in Japan and came out on March 29th.
Okay. I
Right.
mean, well, I can understand their hesitation on that. I really can. In some aspects, because is this going to be a film that's going to be glorifying that the Americans bombed us with this bomb and such? Are we going to have this from Cash Money, in the crowd?
That is some serious fake news, but nice try, Baron.
I know, right off Twitter.
Uh-huh,
Cash Money
sure,
007. Look at that.
Yeah.
Your magnificent chin there. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Baron. Nice try, though.
No,
Nice
but
try.
yeah. I think it was wrong.
No. This is what Baron's doing with you, Cash.
Relax, will you? For crying out, what's getting to you? I'm breaking your balls a little bit, that's all. I'm only kidding with you.
Yeah, I know he is. That's why he belongs in the dinghy again. It's all right.
Yeah. The thing is, I am absolutely sure there were people in Japan that wanted to see this movie.
Yeah, I think so. I think there probably are some. There may be more than some. Who knows?
Right. I mean, because again, it's a historic epic, and they were involved in it.
Mm-hmm.
They were a piece of that story. And if it's done respectful and trying to keep as true to the story and not using it as a gung ho thing, yeah, I don't see where the Japanese would have a problem with that. Again, like I said, if this was one of those things that we're going to go out there and we're cheering and going USA, and such like that, then yeah, I can see them not wanting to have that. But an actual true docudrama, that's trying its best to show all sides, or at least what was going on through the minds of this man. It should be interesting for anything. Just like if we watch something about Rommel, or look how many movies we see about the funny Austrian with the mustache, the corporal, right?
Yes.
It'd be like saying, well, we don't want to watch any of that stuff because of what he did.
Right.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
And let's go ahead and move on to our next article for this afternoon. And it comes to us from Fast Company. It
Hmm.
was posted on their site on Thursday, 4th. It says Paramount and Skydance edge closer to a merger agreement. But even
Mhm.
if a deal is completed, the fate of CBS, MTV, and Paramount Plus remain uncertain.
Yeah.
Mhm. This is by Chris Morris. Says with Warner Brothers seemingly out of the picture, Paramount could be closer to finding a merger partner. The Wall Street Journal reports the entertainment giant has paused talks with all suitors for 30 days to focus on negotiations with Skydance, which has been in talks with the company for some time. Among the bids Paramount has paused was one from private equity firm Apollo Global Management, which submitted a 26 billion all cash offer. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Hmm. I saw how much that was all about. It's like, holy cow! And we thought Lucasfilm was a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. Skydance, David Ellison's media company, has had a long-standing partnership with Paramount Pictures to co-produce and co-finance films. The company reportedly made a preliminary offer in January to buy out Sherry Redstone's stake of National Amusements, the family holding company that controls Paramount Global.
Mhm.
The terms of that deal have reportedly been worked out but not announced, says the journal. But Skydance is insisting it be allowed to merge the studios, which requires permissions from an independent committee of directors.
Mhm.
National Amusement controls about 80% of Paramount Global's voting stock. Since the company is publicly traded, these steps are required. That committee agreed to forego all other offer discussions, including Apollo's, after reportedly having concerns about Apollo's ability to put together the funds to back its offer. Ellison is backed by Jerry Cardinals, Redbird Capital,
Hey,
KKR,
Kilted. Go ahead. Didn't want to interrupt you. Go ahead, man.
and his father, Oracle co founder, Larry Ellison. Skydance is said to be primarily interested in the Paramount Pictures studio, which would likely look to divest other interests. That leaves the fate of holdings including CBS, MTV, and Paramount Plus streaming service uncertain. Skydance has been an increasingly strong presence in Hollywood the past several years, producing blockbuster films including Top Gun Maverick, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, and Transformers Rise of the Beast. Paramount stock surged initially on the news, but was down nearly 8% in midday trading. Year to date shares are down by 13.5%. Should Skydance work out a deal to purchase Paramount and Redstone's shares, it would be a seismic shift for the company, which was built by Sherry Redstone's father, Summer Redstone, who died in 2020. Redstone had resisted a sale previously, hoping the company's numbers would improve and the streaming service would find traction. So far, that hasn't happened. At the end
Mhm.
of the fourth quarter last year, Paramount Plus reported a subscriber base of about 67.5 million users. Netflix, by comparison, had more than 260 million in that same period. And last week, things took a turn for the worse when S&P downgraded Paramount's debt to junk, citing accelerating declines in its traditional TV business and continued uncertainty about the streaming unit. Well, I think they should just scrap it all together. Paramount has attracted a good bit of media attention since it announced it had hired financial advisors to consider bids for a long period of time. Excuse me. It appeared Warner Brothers Discovery would acquire the company, but in February, the company went pencils down on the deal as it saw its own shares fall.
Mhm.
Brian Allen offered $14.3 billion for Paramount Global at one point, but that bid has gone fairly silent of late. All right.
I think what they're asking for is way too much.
Mm-hmm.
Is this more of a problem again with a monopoly that that you're gonna? I don't know.
Well,
yeah.
I think it's all part of that machine that I said was going to be happening. I mean, obviously, Star Trek has really been a big hit for Paramount Plus, hasn't it, folks? And as much as you want to go out there and say how successful are these programs are they're coming out with Kurtzman, even though, again, I have to reiterate, you're on a paywall service and you're canceling a Star Trek series. You're not even on a network. You're not on terrestrial.
Right.
That's not a good sign. Good old Strange New Worlds. I don't think that's doing awfully well. And when you got to do stuff like let's have a musical episode, which is up for a freaking Hugo Award. I mean, 2 episodes of that show is up for a Hugo Award. None deserve it.
No.
Especially the singing song one. What the hell's wrong with you at the Hugos? What's wrong with you, morons? And yeah, I mean that. Morons. I know that they're sweating bricks over there in the wing that does Star Trek. Because I think they know they've been pumping out crap. And their little ride's coming to an end. And again, these streaming services are crumbling apart. We're starting to watch it. Whether it's Disney and their little issues that they've had lately. I didn't want to bring them up, but we can't leave that out because of the shenanigans that's going on there. And we know that there's something more going on than we're led to believe. Who else? Our streaming services are starting to crumble, just like I predicted. Again, I have nobody in the inside. It's just a gut feeling. And this is one of the signs. And I think Paramount is in worse shape than they want people to know. Obviously, their debt thing shows that. They got to show their books. Warner Brothers couldn't afford it because they're in their own bad problems, and they start seeing how much of a shit show that is over there at Paramount.
Mm-hmm.
It'll cost more money to try to get that boat going, which they need to do to take care of their own boat right now.
Yep.
I mean, in some ways,
is it possible to see Paramount go under? Just flat out go under?
Yeah. But I can see properties being sold off. I can see someone getting the property rights to like Cheers and the other series like that, Frasier and the like. I can see that. And Star Trek. No one's going to want to see that franchise die with Paramount. I mean, look at it. Star Trek was on Desilu. And what happens? Desilu went under and it went to Paramount. So, Star Trek can still get a home somewhere. Hopefully a home that really knows the property, enjoys the property, knows what it's about to bring back people like us who've been jaded.
Right.
And hello to Real Wade Gaming Nation Live. I will be a guest of Real Wade's tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern on his Real Wade Gaming Live channel.
Woo! Mike's a traveling man. Like that. Get him up.
I don't know. I think the big question is like, so far this year, what has Paramount done that's been great?
Well, we were trying to get Frasier going.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the status of Frasier is, to be honest with you. But
I'm sure it's doing pretty well, the revival, yeah.
Yeah. I know people are hating on it because of his politics.
Of course. They haven't hated on it. Yeah, of course. Yes.
Yeah. Let's hate on it because, we don't agree with the guy politically. Oh,
Right.
you know, boy, you're really an intellectual giant there, aren't you? If I went that way, I mean, wouldn't be watching any freaking TV. I think though news like this is titillating. I think this is kind of exciting because maybe, like I said, like you were saying, could Paramount go under? Yeah, but things will be shuffled around. Maybe things will go to proper places so they can get the greatness back because they know what makes it good and they know why it failed. And Star Trek was supposed to be this big thing for Paramount, and yet what's happening? They're failing.
Let's throw out a hypothetical here.
Okay.
And I'm going to make sure I emphasize that this is hypothetical.
Yeah.
Let's say Warner Brothers gets a hold of Star Trek if Star Trek is sold off. And someone like J. Michael Straczynski is put in charge of it.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Think about the possibilities.
Right. I would not want the reboot like he was suggesting after the demise of Enterprise and before the Jar Jar Abrams film.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see him taking it and go anything that's after Voyager, scrap it, and let's go another 70-some years into the future. Basically, next generation, the next generation.
Mm-hmm.
And those properties, because I'm tired of things going back. We need to go forward.
Yeah,
the galaxy's a big place. It has not been fully explored, as we've been told. What possibilities? And let yourself go wild. Why even be stuck in our galaxy? We have I believe we have 2 little pocket galaxies next to us. Of that, not Andromeda, but actually little ones. What if they're able to get past that and go into that little galaxy, those little galaxy clusters, and we really start seeing strange new worlds?
Mm-hmm.
Don't confine yourself.
I mean, the J. Michael thing should just be obvious, but the studios just in these companies just they don't want to see the bigger picture. I mean, that's exactly, I like that idea a lot, Baron. It's like, give this man a lot of power, see what he does.
Right.
Well, like I said, it's a hypothetical. I'm not saying it's gonna happen. It's like, just tossing my hat out there saying, let's just have some fun with this and say Warner Brothers ends up buying Star Trek if Star Trek is sold off because Paramount's going on under, again, another hypothetical. And they being Warner Brothers purchases the Star Trek rights and then calls up J. Michael Straczynski and says, now's your chance to work on that Star Trek series you wanted to do. But like you said, Baron, 75 years into the future.
Yeah. I don't want a reboot. I want a continuation of the story. And, while you're at it, get Peter David while he's still healthy enough to do it. To start to do some stuff in there. We've already lost some, we lost DC Fontana. But, get some of the people who had been involved with Star Trek in one fashion or another. It'd be great to actually see something on a Star Trek that was actually on screen, written by David. He has proven himself someone who knows this universe.
And here's another part of this hypothetical. You put it back on standard television. You don't put it behind a paywall.
No.
I agree.
Whether it's your own network or back in the syndication. But make it accessible to everyone. It's going to be, it's not working. Again, too many things behind paywalls. Too many, subscription services. And right now people can't afford it.
They didn't listen, man. A few years ago.
I agree with TGAP on this.
Mm-hmm.
Henry Cavill does need full authority.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Yes.
I I'm hoping as the producer of the show, he does do that. I'm sure he probably hammered that home, especially after his experience on The Witcher.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, I have never read Rising Stars, I hate to say. I was kind of getting out of collecting comics at that time.
I haven't read it either.
No.
So that makes two of
But I
us.
hear it was good. I hear it was good, though. So I don't know how easy it is to get back issues, but you know, he's a comic book writer. He's a television writer. He's a novelist. He knows his shit. I mean, right down the path. I'm hoping this is opening doors to back what we were saying. I'm hoping my predictions are right. Again, predictions. I don't know anybody in the industry. I'm just sticking my finger in the air after licking it and seeing which way the wind is blowing. Not to make a decision, but to see where things are actually, you know, which way the winds are prevailing right now.
Well, I know one thing that is definitely going to flail is going to fall apart. Is, you know, I think it's just only a matter of time until a lot of these streaming services fail, and
Yeah.
there's just going to be one or two left. And it's funny when you say some of this stuff, Baron and Mike, that you say there's just too much greed, and you see what people are saying, customers are saying. And so what does Netflix do? They raise prices. What does Disney do? They raise prices. And it's an absolute mess. And I just don't understand it. I agree with you guys. Put it back on network television, you know, take it off these streaming services. But they think they see all these dollar signs. But once again, as I told you guys, I think these streaming services, the best part of them is older content.
Right.
Not a lot of the newer stuff they're putting out. Some of it, sure, but not all of it.
Well, and then Netflix does the unimaginable. They made their viewers, you know, try to tell their viewers that they're a bunch of pieces of shit for sharing their passwords so other people can watch it after they were encouraging them to do it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's not right, man.
So both sides of their mouth.
I like to think they're talking on both sides of their asses, but you know.
They are, man. I'm sure they are. Yeah. And so, and you know, we've seen with just like these monopolies. Oh, well, you know, Paramount's doing this or this merger's happening there. Yet a lot of these companies should just break apart, and then we have more competition. And that's what we need.
Well, let's start with Disney. If we're going to start breaking companies apart, let's start with the biggest cheese in Hollywood.
Right.
And
No pun
I
intended.
said that on purpose. No pun intended. Pun intended.
Right.
Oh, pun intended? Okay. Sorry about that.
Yes.
Sorry about that, Chief.
Man, I'm going to have a lecture with you after the show.
Oh, boy.
Animal is taking over my spot. I can feel it right now.
Yep.
But no, really, if you're going to start breaking up these companies, selling off properties, let's start with Disney.
Yes, I agree. Yes.
And I think we're going to see that sooner than later, honestly.
Yeah, it should. I mean, you know, I would like ABC to be not owned by Disney anymore. I would like start there and go from there and see what happens.
ESPN.
Yeah. I would, you know, there's still some things I like about ESPN, but yes, I think they went in some definitely wrong directions, and certain things that they defend I think is ridiculous. Personally, they do still have people like Scott Van Pelt there who has been there a long time. There's still some people who actually care about telling sports and giving good opinions. A few, not many, but a few.
Right.
But yeah, somebody else should own ABC. Have, you know, and don't sell it back to, don't sell it to somebody else like Apple or whatever. I mean,
no,
you know, it needs to go to somebody different and see what they do. And even if the fans could get together and actually put together some money to buy something, I think that could be interesting too. But
Well, I'm starting
that
to
would be a
GoFundMe.
lot. Yes,
I'm starting
I
to
agree.
GoFundMe right now. Yeah.
Right, there you go.
Would it be funny if you did do that and you were able to get that going?
Right. I mean,
there's Cash sitting behind his desk with a big cigar going,
right.
yeah.
Oh, I'm telling you, if we could as fans, like we would if we could put our money together and have a GoFundMe, and we'd need a lot of money. We're talking billions of dollars, most likely, or obviously millions. It would be like, and we could get something like Paramount, we would definitely hire JS. There's no doubt about that. Can you go do this?
Well,
Like that's just a win. That's a win.
If fans were to, have the capability to buy any studio, what you should do first, if you were able to buy it, is you should look and see what are your biggest losses and cut them.
Right.
Exactly.
I know
Yes.
somebody say, yeah, pointing out the obvious, Mike. Of course, but you have to look at the shows and movies that aren't doing you any good and just say, so long.
Yeah.
Look at contracts that are holding you back, that are dead weight.
Right. And what Keith was telling us before, when he was on, it must have been at least more than a few weeks ago, at least, that the CEO of Discovery, wants to make money, but I would like to see that. Keith also was saying, and this was just when we were talking about that a lot of these talented people are coming back to DC Comics. Well, I want to see it because unfortunately, I'm not saying Keith is wrong or it isn't a hypothetical. I'm just saying that they talk a lot. All these people talk a lot, including Zasloff. They talk a lot. So let's actually see the improvements at Discovery since they own Warner Brothers. Maybe Discovery wants to get rid of Warner Brothers in DC and sell it to somebody else. I just, all this stuff seems to be crumbling where they can be like, if you guys want to make money, let's see them start making money. Let's see them start talking to the fans and say, what would you guys like to see? Even
better artwork.
Yes, I agree. Yes.
I'd like to see better artwork out of both comic divisions, both DC and Marvel.
Yes.
It looks like shit. It really looks like shit. It's like, I'd rather look at artwork by Gordon Purcell and the others. Well, obviously I would, because they're a great art. They do great art.
Yep. But somebody's got to push a lot of these companies so the other companies go, okay, we really fucked up. We better start fixing things or we're going to go under. But then again, I do agree with Phil, and we've had talks about this a lot, that maybe some of these companies should go under. Maybe that's what they need. And it sucks because you're saying, oh, you want people to lose their jobs. It's like, it's not that. But they've done so much damage. So maybe some of them should go under.
Yeah. But, I think what TGAP, Big Daddy TGAP, is kind of saying there is we need a little bit of this.
What would you say you do here?
Absolutely.
That's what you should do first and foremost when you buy a studio, is say to the people, what do you do here?
Yeah.
The Bobs are here. They want to know. The Bobs want to know, what is it that you do here?
Yes.
In the studio.
Right.
And look and see how many people in that position you have. And if you have more people than you actually need, start cutting ties. I hate people losing their jobs, but if you're gonna get out of debt, you got to see where your money's going, and if it's going into places it really doesn't need to be going into, or you're paying for the same position for say 10 people, and you can do it with 5, then cut.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, when a bunch of people are just sitting around doing nothing. While the other ones are working hard, and then they're taking the credit for it. I don't feel sorry at all if someone loses their job there when they're the ones that work are influenced by, shall we say, again, the company that name is similar to a great barbecue sauce company. I don't mind seeing them walk at all. There's been too many good talents that they made walk to keep the BS artists around.
Right.
Get rid of the BS artists and bring back the talent.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as the Fall Guy film that's coming out, I've seen the trailers, and it's not one I have to go see in the theaters, but if I see it, on a free service like Tubi, because Tubi does get some recent movies on there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If it's on a service like that, I'll watch it, but it's not one that I'm excuse me, that I'm going to be going out to the movie theater and paying money to see.
That's the one with Ryan Gosling, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the stuntman.
First of all, I didn't even know they're doing a Fall Guy movie, and second of all, from the sounds of it, there, making it more comedic and all that. Again, they're taking a established and for many cherished property and almost doing, hey, yes, let's yuck it up. Let's make it a parody of itself.
Because I watched the Fall Guy TV series with my dad growing up, and I love that series because of the way it was.
Mm-hmm.
Lee Majors was perfect.
Yeah. It was quirky in the right way.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to do it like what the show was. But we've seen it before when they did The Land of the Lost, and let's just go out and make a mockery of it and other properties. We'll take it and we're just going to, run into the ground. I mean, Starsky and Hutch, let's do it for yucks. It's like, well, Starsky and Hutch wasn't
It was
yuck,
pretty
yuck.
good. It just could have used more Huggy Bear, but I understand what you're saying.
Huggy Bear. No, but you got to stay more true instead of taking, hey, let's take this and twist it into this. Keep it to what the original was. That's what's so great about at least the Star Trek movies. At least they didn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
We were getting Star Trek on a big screen. Whether it was good Star Trek or bad Star Trek, that's to be debated, but it was still Star Trek.
Yeah, it wasn't yuck yuck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the closest we got was Star Trek 5.
Yeah.
But even the more lighthearted Star Trek film, Star Trek 4, they still kept it based in how they did their more comedic episodes of Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Watch
still
where you're going, you dumbass. Well, double dumbass on you.
Right, yeah. I mean, the humor was believable of the situation that they're in. Just like in Troubles with Tribbles. Obviously, an episode that was more lighthearted, but still, it had serious overtones to it. You still were having a serious Star Trek with basically the situation around it being, this is not my day. Has everyone heard of this besides me? Kirk being the fish out of water is absolutely hysterical.
It's hysterical to see them all as fish out of water. Still trying to fly the Huey. Chekhov and Uhura looking for the nuclear vessels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Scotty and McCoy, they're at the plant and they're given the formula for transparent aluminum.
Which is now a reality. Hello, computer.
Mm-hmm. Hello, computer.
Just use the keyboard.
So quaint.
The keyboard. How quaint.
How quaint. Excuse me. How quaint.
Quaint. Yeah.
Right.
How
How
quaint.
quaint.
Yeah.
He's using two fingers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hunting peck method. Which you can believe. It's like, capital, there'll be whales here.
There'll be whales here, Captain. Yes.
And
oh, man.
Kirk and Spock. We love Italian. No. We love Italian. I love Italian, and so do you. No. Yes. No.
Yeah. Right.
What, you and Friar Tuck are just gonna go along and get the whales? I love it when Gillian calls Spock Friar Tuck.
Yeah. And Yeah, I mean, it's like, what's he gonna do? Just wander amongst in the park? It's his thing.
It's his way.
Yeah, it's
It's
his
his
way.
way.
Yeah, I mean, he had those humorous undertones in there, but still, it still was a serious story. There was something going on, and you didn't have it fraught with peril, but you still had a chance to have a little levity, proper levity. And thank God that Star Trek wasn't dumbed down
No.
in the 80s
Yeah.
or even early 90s.
But, I understand the whole thing about the Starsky and Hutch. And, I understand, they didn't change. But I still say, in terms of entertainment, and it was just on earlier and I watched all of it, was on IFC. It's a pretty good movie. And the 2 stars did come back at the end. But could it just needed more Huggy Bear, but compared to what is going on now, it's still more entertaining than a lot of stuff we're getting now.
Oh yeah, I know. I just sit back saying that the films like that started perpetrating let's just take the old properties and junk them. Let's make a parody of themselves, and it just got worse and worse and worse and worse with that. And who wanted to see Baywatch, which was a ridiculous show. But
and
let's make a
Baywatch had more
movie.
serious moments than we see in
As
Star
a
Wars.
movie, I didn't want to see it.
Oh, not as a movie.
Definitely the TV show as a teenager. You damn right I wanted to see it.
The show itself, even though it went on 11 years and there was Baywatch Nights and all this other stuff, and then now it's coming back. Yes, Baywatch Hawaii. There were serious moments, especially in the original, and it was like, wow, would they even do these storylines now? Who knows? But they're bringing Baywatch back for some reason. It's just, but is it
starring the Hoff?
I don't know. I'm not sure if he's going to be in it or not.
Hey, don't hassle the Hoff, man.
That's right. Don't hassle the Hoff. But even that show that could get cheesy, there were still serious moments where it's like, would you guys be willing to actually show these moments again? Because I think it'd be great to show on TV again, but would you guys be willing to have the balls to do it? Well, or are you just going to sugarcoat it? You're going to just go with what's safe instead of going no, we're going to push this.
I think the cheesiness of Baywatch was kind of like the cheesiness of Chips.
Right. I got you. Yeah.
I mean, let's face it. Chips was kind of a cheesy show. I'm not saying cringe, just cheesy. And there's nothing wrong with cheesy, mind you. And very formulaic. You have all your incidents, then you have the big whatever at the end, the big chase, big crash, whatever it is at the end. Which, of course, Mark 7 did with Emergency. You had your various emergencies, then you had the big fire or rescue you needed to have at the end in the last act.
Right.
That's fine. That's fine. No problem. But yeah, nothing wrong with having cheesy fun.
No, it would be nice to have a balance. Even Starsky and Hutch, there are some serious moments that you would find in the TV show, but it just there needed to be the reason. It's Huggy Bear has always been important to the show, so I think in the movie he needs to be in there more. Snoop Dogg needed to be in there more than what they had it, and I think the movie would have been even better if he was in there. But still, it had serious moments. Yes, it got pretty goofy with other stuff, but then it gets to the point now where it's there's too much goofiness, and they're forgetting about other things that make these properties so cool.
Yeah, Starsky and Hutch wasn't cheesy.
No,
it was just your typical cop show of the 80s. It was, that was a different thing. Oh, okay, we're going to go around with a hot Gran Torino,
Right.
And such. But, it was just a different take on stuff. Obviously a lot of the situations weren't believable, but still, it's a cop drama show.
Sure.
Everybody loved that.
Well, but just like I mentioned Monday, with Chips, my dad actually being an actual California Highway Patrol officer, he enjoyed the show, but there were things about the show that he just couldn't separate the fact that it was just a TV show doing its thing compared to what he and so many other officers did in real life.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just, and there'll be still some stuff that'll even come out now where people will be like, we're gonna push things and we're gonna see what we can do with this. But then there's gonna be these other shows where they have too much of an agenda. There's too much goofiness. Like, whatever people want to believe about what's happened to Marvel and DC, where it's either too dark and where it doesn't go anywhere and has some stupid agenda, or it's just too goofy, like Star Wars is what's happened to that, and Marvel. And even certain things like Guardians of the Galaxy, it was like, well, even in the comics, that's how it was presented. So of course there should be a lot of goofiness, but even stuff like Suicide Squad, and I know that made good money. It was just the jokes were like, oh, here's a dick joke. It's like, don't you guys have something else in there? Like, this is like this one scene. Okay, this is funny. Like, you guys went into the wrong camp. That was funny. But then it's like, oh, well, Peacemaker. Yeah, Peacemaker, right? Yeah. He's going to make these jokes and it's going to be like, well, this is stupid. Like, what are we doing with this? I just don't understand. There needs to be a balance. There needs to be some other people who come in there and be like, guys, we can't just throw something at a dartboard. At least it really seems like that most of the time. Let's come up with a good show. We can have serious moments. We can have maybe this character dies, but we need to have a good reason for all this. And we talk about this stuff, it seems, guys, until we're blue in the face, but it could happen again. And there will be some other people who will be like, no, we're going to start bringing this stuff back and you're just going to have to accept it. And I think some of that is changing, but more of it needs to still change. So.
Right. If you bring it back, you got to do it right.
Yes.
Kind of like this show.
Well, there is going to be a change because Pat Sajak, after this season, will no longer be the host of Wheel of Fortune. Ryan Seacrest will be stepping in his place.
Yeah,
but according to Deadline and Denise Petsky from this article posted on Friday, Pat Sajak's final Wheel of Fortune episode air date has been set. Pat Sajak's run on Wheel of Fortune is quickly coming to a close. Excuse me. After more than 4 decades as host of the iconic game show, Sajak's final episode will air on Friday, June 7th. Deadline has confirmed. Sajak's farewell episode, which tapes today, well, Friday, was when it taped, will serve as Wheel of Fortune. Sorry. Dang, Poland. Will serve as Wheel of Fortune's season 41 finale. Sajak announced in June 2023. Excuse me. That he was ready to retire as host from the syndicated game show, and season 41 would be his last. He agreed to stay on as a consultant on the show for 3 years following his final year hosting, said Suzanne Pretty, or just try to get as close as I can. Hope I'm in the nearest ballpark. Executive Vice President Game Shows at Sony Pictures Television when Sajak announced his retirement. Sajak, a longtime colleague Vanna White, signed contract extensions in 2021 that take them through the current season. He has hosted Wheel of Fortune since 1981 and has won 3 Emmy Awards for his work, not counting the 2011 Lifetime Achievement Award he received from the TV Academy. He originally was recruited by creator Merv Griffin to take over for the outgoing Chuck Woolery. Having already hosted 2 unscripted game pilots called Press Your Luck and Puzzlers. In 1980, Sajak did double duty, hosting a daytime version on NBC and a syndicated version in the evening. When the show hit its 36th season in 2018, Sajak became the longest running host of any game show, surpassing The Price is Right's Bob Barker. A week after Sajak announced his retirement, it was revealed that Ryan Seacrest would be taking over as host in season 42. Seacrest will also serve as consulting producer on the show.
Mm. Ryan Seacrest, as they call him on MXC.
Guy has a
Well,
high opinion of himself.
He does.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate Ryan Seacrest. You know, I wish him luck in his endeavor as Wheel of Fortune host, but he's got awfully big shoes to fill.
Yeah, he really does.
Yes,
I
he
mean,
does.
obviously be himself. I mean, even when Pat was coming on there, you know, Chuck Woolery. I mean, that was a giant name.
He was a giant
And-
too. Oh, absolutely, yes.
And the thing is you know, he and Vanna, especially with having the daytime and the syndicated one, I mean, they turned this into a monster of a show. I mean, Vanna wasn't originally on there when he started, but when she came in, that chemistry. I mean, everybody I knew, I mean, literally, watched Wheel of Fortune at one time. My grandmother that grew up on the farm, right? And you know, doesn't really, it has a TV but doesn't really watch TV. Maybe for the news, whatever. She was hooked on Wheel of Fortune, which just amazed me. It's like, oh wow, you know, even grandma watches this show. It was just shocking and surprising. My girlfriend in high school and their family, Wheel of Fortune. I know her father had a big crush on Vanna. I always thought Vanna was too skinny, but that's me. But still, this show was huge. When they say America's Game, I mean, I don't know where it sits right now, to be honest, with ratings, how much of a giant it still is. But a lot of that did have to do with Pat Sajak, who did have that small role in Airplane 2, despite his best effort. I could tell he was tired of it. You know, if you're watching these current shows, it's like, you know, I think he was absolutely tired of it. I mean, how many years? 40 years? Over 40 years doing this show?
Yeah, since 1981.
Yeah, I could tell he was kind of getting tired. He was almost kind of turning into that cranky old Shatner type on the set and all that. But I tell you, they tried to do controversy. He gave 0 F's about it. He didn't care. You know, he was a veteran, or is a veteran. He's still alive. So, you know, he's done things and took the show and took it places where no one ever thought.
No, if you could ask Merv Griffin, well, did you think the show would last this long? You know, he'd probably tell us, no, not at all.
That and Jeopardy. I mean, honestly, that was the two big staples. You had Pat Sajak with Wheel of Fortune, and you had Alex Trebek with Jeopardy. And you know,
I can distinctly remember times where I stayed at my grandmother's on my mom's side after school. That's what she would have on in the evening, would be Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune. She'd let me watch my cartoons, but once my cartoons were over, it was her time to watch her TV, and that's what she watched.
Now they were on two different stations here in the cities. Our NBC affiliate, they had the Jeopardy, and that was like around the 4:00, 4:30 hour that they showed it. Hey, Paul. And then and it still is, by the way, on our CBS affiliate right after the news, 6:30. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better time slot for that. And of course, there's a reason why. We get done with the news, we go right into Wheel of Fortune.
Mm-hmm. Right into some fun with some game shows.
Right. Before you get into the prime time. Now, I mean, I really do hope the best for Ryan Seacrest. I really, really do.
Ryan Seacrest.
Yeah, like I said, that's what they call him on MXC.
I love that.
Yeah. But I don't know. Does he? I don't know if he has that power to keep.
I don't know. He when he started, what was it? Star 98.7 or whatever it was here. He was a good DJ, man. It's just when he started getting this other stuff, he became really annoying. And I think he was even accused of sexual harassment at one point. Yeah, I think he was around the Me Too. I think it was around. But I don't know if anything came about that. But I guess if you can replace Alex Trebek, and of course, rest in peace, but with Ken Jennings, and Ken Jennings is strong. I would say, then I mean anything's possible. But man, that is some big shoes to fill. And then what they also do is they bring back some of these shows like Card Sharks, and and Joel McHale's hosting. I'm like, you guys got something here. And then after a few seasons, I guess people aren't watching. I'm like, are you moving the show around ABC? Obviously, ABC is owned by Disney, but like, what are you guys doing? And then, of course, Match Game came back, and Match Game, they probably should have just gotten another host after a while, because Alec Shitbag Baldwin was he was
horrible.
He was, at times he would say some nasty things to the contestants, and I'm like, is this for real, man?
Well, see what you had him on prime time. You had limited seasons, so there was only so many episodes, so you really couldn't get into watching the show, right? These shows need to be like your afternoon fare or whatever every day. Yep. And when it comes around to Match Game, you need someone like Gene Rayburn, who he
was great, dude. He was great. No.
He knew how to straddle that line from being the creepy uncle to a cheerleader, and what she was doing. He was being a cheerleader sometimes. You need to have that formula where you have at least 2 or 3 regulars on there. Brett Summers and Charles Nelson Riley, and then of course up until towards the end of the 70s there, Richard Dawson, which of course that's what got him Family Feud.
And they had funny people even on the new Match Game show. It's just like before Alec Baldwin, it's like he was fine. This is obviously before everything that's happened lately.
Right.
But he was fine, and then he started with that arrogance again. And then, of course, there had to be something about the Orange Man. There had to be a jump. Like, no. This is not what Match Game should ever be about. What are we doing here? Like, I'm like, now you guys are starting to go into this direction. I don't like that. Even Snoop Dogg had a show, Joker's Wild.
Yeah, Joker's Wild.
And then there was a joke about that, too, at one point. It's like, no, you guys have a good format here. Keep the format the way it's supposed to be. And then when they start doing that bullshit, and it is bullshit, you guys obviously know that, then it starts falling apart. But like Card Sharks, hosted by Joel McHale, was a quality show coming back. It's like, oh, cool, because Card Sharks is a quality show. Press Your Luck with Elizabeth Banks, it's a fun show. It's still a fun show. Like these were well-crafted game shows. They can come back, but you need somebody also with a good personality. And I'm not saying Elizabeth Banks. I think Press Your Luck is still on, but it's like, why can't Card Sharks stay? Did you guys just, I
mean, I don't know.
Time, it was really.
I don't know if Press Your Luck
unfortunate.
Is still on or not.
I'm not sure.
I haven't checked.
Yeah.
I mean, that had a couple returns. You had Press Your Luck, and then you had Whammy.
Yeah, that's right.
What
Right.
they did, and I can't remember, it was the late 90s, early 2000s. I can't remember exactly on that one.
Sure.
But the thing is sometimes these hosts get carried away because these are stars coming in and they start wanting to turn it into their show.
Right.
But it's not about you. You again, it's like Johnny Carson being.
It's about the contestant.
Right.
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 host.
And
Yeah,
that's why
you're an
somebody.
MC.
Right. And even Steve Harvey, who I think is still doing Family Feud, maybe he's done now. I'm not sure.
I don't know. Yeah.
But he has that personality too, and he says funny things. And then they have Celebrity Family Feud, which of course they had in the past. But you got to get somebody who's obviously going to have energy. If they're going to be a game show host, they've got to have good energy. But it's not good to have somebody like Alec Baldwin who starts insulting the people, and it's just like, and people laugh, and it's like, dude, you should be happy people are coming on your show. Don't start insulting them when they're about to leave.
No.
It's like, oh, it's funny. It's like, dude, yeah.
Right. I mean, exactly. I mean,
it's the way he does it. It's like, dude, that's not cool, man. Yeah.
He's not host material. He really is not.
Right.
I mean, and I'm not going with the eye of a critic here. Not any disdain for looking at him for disdain or anything, but just how he is. He is nowhere near an MC quality person.
No, it's just if his attitude would change some, I think it would be fine. But when you start that arrogance again, it doesn't matter who's hosting. You're like, no.
Right.
Don't do that. Yeah.
Right. You need to go back and look at the tapes.
Exactly.
Of the old shows. Honestly, you do. I mean, Family Feud. Yeah. Richard Dawson.
Yes.
Was definitely a draw for that.
Oh yes, of course.
I mean,
and the women loved the guy. The women loved him too.
Yeah, and that's just it. They loved him so much because of what he did on the match game. And that's just the important thing about it. How do you spell feed? Okay, there we go. I found that. But when they decided to let him go after being on there for 9 long years, I mean, he was that was a long time in those days to have a show running that way. They brought in Ray Combs. I think both him and Ray Combs were the two best hosts they had, followed by Steve Harvey, of course. Unfortunately, poor Ray Combs doesn't get as much credit as he should have because, at that time, the luster of the show, not his quality, was what was not driving people away, but having a lack of interest, and that's when they were trying to do little gimmicks and such on the show. Basically, he got let go a season early, and they brought Dawson back for a little bit. And then the show went away until I believe it was Louis Anderson.
He was very funny too. Yeah.
Yeah. Who is the only person to be a contestant and a host of Family Feud?
That's crazy. Yeah.
Because he came for one of the celebrity ones. But unfortunately, of course, Ray Combs had issues, and he went away. Because of mental issues, unalived himself, sadly. But Louis was good, but he wasn't. I wouldn't call him stellar.
Yeah, that's right. He went. He must have done that more than a few years. He was the host.
He went about 3 years.
Yeah,
he went 3 years.
Okay. And then Steve Harvey came in after him.
No. Then you had I believe Al Borland, from the great Home Improvement.
Okay,
that's
That's right. Richard Carr did. That's right. Yeah.
Yep. And then John O'Hurley. No, John O'Hurley. Hurley came in and did it, and then Steve Harvey.
Wow. Okay.
So
I completely forgot about John O'Hurley.
And so has a lot of people, to be honest with you. And I'm not trying to be mean. It's just
Yeah.
he didn't exactly, even though he had that voice, he wasn't exactly what you call a draw or memorable doing that part.
Yeah, and Pat Wannabe says, I know he was a comedy actor, but if Phil Hartman was still around, do you think he would have taken a game show gig? I think he would have been fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh,
He could be the host and announcer.
He would have been great. I mean, even I would say Chris Farley would be a quality game show host just because he has a lot of energy.
Well, yeah,
passion and stuff. The way his style is, he'd make people laugh if he was. But yeah,
I could see Hartman doing Press Your Luck. I could see him doing Card Sharks.
Yes.
I could see him doing Family Feud.
Yes.
Because he has that right temperament, or had that right temperament.
Yes, he does.
Chris Farley, I wonder what game show he would have been good at in there.
Question.
That's a little bit harder for me, but yeah, I mean,
password,
maybe. Password. Password. Yeah.
I think John Belushi would have been a good host.
Mm-hmm. He would have. You're part of that sketch comedy. That sketch comedy. You got to be on your feet, type of thing, and sometimes you got to know when to do ad libs or do things in. The big thing is having love for the properties and the genre, you might say. So people, there to be a successful, game shows can be sometimes, what would you say, looked down upon, simpleton stuff, so on and so forth. But honestly, a lot of it has to do with the quality of who you have doing it and the quality of obviously question. I mean, look at Bob Barker. I mean, despite even some of the turbulent things that people found out about him, he still remained on the top until he walked off the show.
And even when he came back to promote his book, people still stood up and applauded because they love Barker that much. I mean, the impact he made, resonated, especially when he passed last year.
Yes.
Right. And, and let's not leave out the other important thing. Your announcers, Rob Rowdy, Gene Wood, these giants that unfortunately, went away. And when you didn't hear those familiar voices no more, you kind of felt a little bit of a loss because, when you heard those voices, it was time.
Yeah.
And you were all ready. It's like, boom. And they had, that's the other thing about the announcers. Not only do they announce the shows, the proper ones, that is, but they also do, warm up the crowd. They go out there and they warm them up, which means, they're having to perform. You don't see it on TV, but I don't know if they have other people now coming in because the quality of announcers are down. But that is not a job to scoff at either.
No.
This is where you're getting the ultimate showmen, show women out there. And you really can't, it's really hard for a lot of people nowadays, especially in this entitlement society, because you really have to work hard at it. I spent a lot of time studying them before even coming on the YouTube, and how do they do that? How they move their hands certain way, that you never point with your finger. If you do your hand or whatever, but you don't point with the finger. You don't do it that way. And you start finding out the little nuances of how it goes. It's like, okay, this is why. I don't think you have people who go into this being hosts and actually do that.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about great announcers, what about Don Pardo for SNL?
Oh.
It's Saturday Night Live.
It's Saturday Night Live.
With Will Ferrell, Mike Myers.
Yeah, I mean, he was on.
I can't do it anywhere close to him, but
No, I mean, he had that unique voice. And of course, he was also the announcer for the original Jeopardy.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
I mean, he was out there, his voice was heard all over the place because he was a giant, just like Gary Collins. No, not Gary Collins. He played Space Ghost. I hate the fact that I got a mental block on this thing, but he was also a giant, and you heard his voice, and you know who it was. And we don't necessarily have those voices anymore, even in radio. I mean, Art Bell. I mean, what a distinctive sound Art Bell had.
Mm-hmm.
And that was part of the thing of listening to his show. I mean, I didn't listen to it because I believed the stuff that was coming out. I was listening to because it's entertaining and how good of a job that Art Bell was doing as a radio announcer.
Yeah.
Who I think held a world record for a while for the most time on the air, but I think that was broken eventually here. It's absolutely funny. You'd have the first hour, you'd have a guest, and yeah, I can understand. Oh, I see that. Yeah, I can see how that is. Then you'd bring in on the second hour, someone comes out and he's spewing stuff that's completely opposite, and Art Bell will be the same way. Oh yeah, I can see exactly. I mean, it takes skill to do that.
Yeah, Ed McMahon. Here's Johnny.
Right.
Yeah, he was great.
And the mythologies that grew up around this. I mean, Ed McMahon was as much of a character on there as anything else. I mean,
yes,
they'd always be making fun of him being a drunk when he was not really a drinker. It was Johnny that was the drinker and got into a lot of trouble. That bit about Ed McMahon being a lush was, he and Johnny went out to have lunch, a martini lunch, you might say. And he got a little tipsy off of that. And of course, when he was on the show, when they recorded the show, he was still tipsy. And they're just having the time of their life with it. And it stuck that, that Ed McMahon was a drunk when he wasn't, Again, the mythology grew up around it. Yeah, a lot of stuff about Johnny was a mythology that was built up.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to Ed McMahon, he built a good career for himself.
Mm-hmm.
Being part of the Tonight Show, but also Star Search.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was great on that too.
Yeah,
Bloopers. That was a fun show
with Dick Clark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Dick Clark, another giant as well.
Mm-hmm. And let's not forget Publishers Clearinghouse.
Of course,
exactly.
And also sold gold too. Close to the end of his life, but
Well, he had to keep the money flowing somehow. I think he had some money issues at the end.
Well, yeah, I think he did, and a lot of people in Hollywood didn't care about him. I always bring that up because thing still pisses me off.
Yeah. I mean, this guy was a giant. He did,
Yes.
Him and Doc Severinsen, even though they were kind of side characters, they were a part of American life. It's like it was Johnny, Ed, and Doc.
Yep. But moving on to our last story of this afternoon.
We got another one? Cool.
Yeah, yes, we do. Yes, we do.
I was just about ready to fall asleep. Boom. Like cat.
No, we were
I'm awake. Talk. I threw a shoe at Baron. I wanted to
Ow.
So.
Ow. That hurt. Watch it. I'll come out of the studio into your studio and kick your ass, man.
Baird.
What?
I just got one thing to say to you.
If you've got an issue, here's a tissue.
Oh, I thought I was absolutely wrong. I thought you were going to do lighten up, Francis. Okay, but that works.
No.
That works.
I like being unpredictable sometimes.
Good. That's the important thing. That's another thing about being a good host.
So let me make sure I get this article over to Rumble too.
Hey, Rumblers.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Are you enjoying the show? We are. If we are, you should be. Show us some love. Subscribe,
Well,
send letters in. We like fan letters.
I hope they are. I hope they're enjoying what they're listening to, and
Mm-hmm.
don't ever be afraid to say something in the comments, and let us know what you think. And
Yeah, we'll keep Cash in check so he doesn't hurt your feelings. He can be mean.
Cash is the
Got,
one. Cash is the one everybody has to worry about, including us, Baron.
I know. He's
I
kind
have
of
to
like
worry
Paul
about
Lynn.
you two, man, because
He's
people
our-
keep throwing each other in the dinghy, man. And then what happens is Mike vanishes, and then Baron looks at me and says, "Is it time to raise the flag?" And I go, "I think so."
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Well, Cash is kind of our Paul Lynn. He's the center square.
But this is what happens usually.
How many assholes we got on this ship anyhow? Yo! I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
We got the Richard Dawson. We got the Charles Nelson Riley. We need to have a Brett Summers. Janet from their planet, you're out there?
Brett, yeah, she was very funny.
Oh, she was.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, those two together. I thought they were married at first when I was a kid watching it.
And then Betty White was usually on that show too. She was very funny as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we had this article from Superhero Hype. It says Dune 3 confirmed in development with Denis Villeneuve set to return. Denis Villeneuve will be back in the director's chair for Dune 3. Variety reports that Villeneuve and Legendary are in early development on the next Dune installment, expected to be based on Frank Herbert's Dune Messiah. Sorry, I was going to cough there. And
you're good, man.
Before the director returns to Arrakis, however, Villeneuve will work with the studio on an adaptation of Annie Jacobson's Nuclear War Scenario. A non-fiction book explores the ticking clock scenario about what would happen in the event of a nuclear war. Terminators. Definitely Terminators. What did you guys agree?
Actually, a couple days ago was the day that Skynet was activated. Uh-huh.
There we go. Terminators.
Because he said when the movie was released, he said in 40 years' time is when it happened, and it's like April something, I can't remember. And it's like, well, that's 40 years. Okay, come on, Arnie, take us out. I'm ready.
Villeneuve comes off the heels of the Dune franchise's massive success with critics and audiences, starring Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya in 2021's Dune, which earned $402 million worldwide, despite having a date release on HBO Max. The recent installment, Dune Part 2, made over $630 million worldwide and currently stands as 2024's top-grossing movie to date. Legendary CEO Josh Groban recently confirmed Dune 3's development as the studio awaits a finished script from Villeneuve. I think this is... Excuse me. Baron, why don't you take over?
Okay, let me call this up here. It's a moment here, folks. I'm going to call it up so I can read it because, that's just the type of guy I am. Where's the story? Oh, wait a moment. Why is it on this one? I have the wrong one over here. I tell you, I'm not professional. I'm not a professional. Never claimed to be a professional. Okay, I am professional. But that's besides the point. Whoa, where did that come from? Okay, so here we are with Dune 3 confirmed. So, what? Oh, I know. Oh, I see what. Now I know why I got the echo. I can hear the echo. You can't hear the echo. I can hear the echo. Okay, so We're looking at legendary CEO Josh Grodd recently confirmed Dune 3's development as the studio awaits finished scripts from Vanille. That's a French name. I can't have a hard time seeing that. I think this is a movie where the word of mouth is going to carry it. It's a stupendous piece of filmmaking. There is no other way to say it. I've run out of adjectives. Oh, my. Grodd said in an interview with CNBC. Does anybody ever watch that anymore, by the way?
Some people probably do. If it's still on, somebody's
okay.
got
That's why I'm surprised that there was actually a story if it was on there. We have to have all creative stockholders aligned to support the vision.
We have to have all. Okay. Anyways, continue, dude.
I'm just trying to read what they have there.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
it's not your fault, bro. It's not
I know, not this time. Yeah. I think everyone is excited and really enjoying this moment if Denny V gets the script right and he feels that he can deliver another experience on par with what we just completed. Then I don't see why not. So, what happens in Dune Messiah? While Denny V previously stated that Dune and Dune Part 2 tell a complete story, the director teased how the events of Dune Messiah could set up more stories for the franchise's future. All the elements are there, said Denny V. See, I'm going to say that instead of trying to say that last name. I think
Villeneuve. I think it's pronounced
Villeneuve. But my mouth doesn't work that way. I'm too much of a guttural German. But I think the movie adaptation is more tragic than the book. The way that Part 2 ends, it would create a total balance and equilibrium to finish Paul's storyline and what we could see in Part 3. Villeneuve, whatever, bless you. Dune is currently streaming on Max.
Yeah, go ahead.
Dune Part 2 is now playing in the theaters. See how I said that? I said theaters.
The theaters.
Theaters.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The theaters. Now, I have not seen Part 2 yet.
I haven't either. I'm supposed to go see it next week.
Yeah, I heard some stuff about it. Especially some pivotal scenes that were they did wrong in there. If that's the case, I'm not going to say what. What I heard, of course, I had to see it to believe it. But really, I mean, what a stupid statement to say that this could be set up for more stories of the franchise's future. Well, yeah, you have 6 books.
Wow.
Dune, Dune Messiah, Children of Dune. You have God Emperor of Dune. You have, of course, Heretics of Dune. Then Chapter House of Dune. Those are the official Frank Herbert ones. Are they wanting to bring in the Brian Herbert, Kevin J. Anderson stories too? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, if you're going with the classic core of it, that's it right there.
There's just 6 books, though. Is there any, like, spin-offs of...
No, the official Dune, if you're going for Frank Herbert, is those 6 books. He died before he could do book 7.
Wow.
Which would finish up the Dune saga. And of course, Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson say they found notes in some secret lockbox somewhere, and they finished it up, but they did it in 2 books instead of 1. Yeah, I mean, the thing is Dune Messiah for Paul is a tragic story on several fronts. And then Children of Dune, even more so. You're not really seeing heroes per se.
What? Dune's not a happy story? The hell you say?
No, it's not. It's very much a warning. This is a warning for a lot of stuff as the series goes along. You know, beware of your messiahs. You know, it's warning about messiahs. It's talking about ecology. It's talking about politics. You know, you could even go so far to say addictions and closing our minds off to new things. You know, which is one of the things that creeped into the Warhammer 40K with the Empire of Man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, basically, you know, we stop here. We have no computers. We have the Mentats, stuff like that, which, you know, they borrowed in that aspect. But no, I mean, Paul is not a hero. His son, Lethal II, definitely isn't. But the thing is they're doing things because this is how they feel it needs to be done, and they're willing to.
Right, and they want to teach, because if he obviously becomes this leader, they have to do what's necessary to survive.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have in Messiah the jihad. They're going out and having a jihad against all these planets for Paul to get everybody into line with Mohadib. So yeah, I mean, Stilgar being his chief lieutenant in this whole thing. It's and then you got the intrigue of people trying to assassinate him, particularly the one daughter of Emperor Padadash Emperor Shaddam, who is the younger sister to Erlon. And of course, there's the guilds. You have the Spicing Guild involved in it. You have the Bene Gesserits involved with it. You have the Bene Talaxiel, and they're all plotting how they can, kill off Muad'Dib, the Emperor Paul. Now, with this, I mean, it does give a chance to have Jason Momoa to come back again if they do it right.
Interesting. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I don't want to let too much off of it, but
no.
But you do have that aspect. Duncan Idol in aspect does return.
Mm-hmm.
Not so, just if there's one character that in one fashion or another is pivotal in all the books, in all the stories, it's Duncan Idaho.
I've got to read these books sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Sometime. But I'll be interested to see from your perspective, Baron, since you have read all these books. What you thought. You liked this first part of Dune. Obviously, you haven't seen the second one.
Yeah, right? I liked the first part, but I did have issues with it.
Right.
I'm not going to deny it. I mean, I think there's some pivotal things that he did that she should not have done because it kind of ruins. I don't know, elements. It just kind of the characters and such. It should not have been. It's important. It was the way it was supposed to have been, and he took liberty on that one. And I don't know why he did it, but it shouldn't have been done.
Okay.
And honestly, in part one, I don't see why he had to do it. Not having to do it a certain way was counterproductive than what we saw. It's like, okay, I'm just going to do it this way for the hell of it, type of thing. So, I still contend if you want to have the better of the adaptations of the book, the 2000 miniseries, despite its flaws, particularly casting flaws, obviously budgetary things involved in it. But it was a great, ambitious project, and I think it brought the book, even though, again, it wasn't 100% to the book, but again, this is translations. I think it was the best translation to screen. I still have fun with the original Dune movie, though.
I don't mind watching the 84 movie.
Mm-mm.
Yes, it has its flaws, but...
ton of flaws, but it's still fun. I think it's one of those that kind of aged on you. It's like as you get older, it's like, it really wasn't as bad as we thought it was. This is kind of entertaining. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the spice needs to flow. So, no, it'd be interesting to see what they do with Dune Messiah.
Yeah. How much of the book that they actually do adapt to the movie and what they leave out.
Well, what will help is Dune Messiah is the shortest of all the books, which is why it was easy to incorporate it with Children of Dune for the follow-up miniseries. You had both Children of Dune and Dune Messiah together in that one. So with just having the shortest book like that, I would think it should be one of the easiest to adapt. And even though Frank Herbert never really shows battles in his books, you kind of have the aftermath of the battles, people talking about the battles. You're not seeing the battles per se. being that you are transcribing this to a movie, I think it gives them an opportunity to see some kick-ass battles.
Yeah.
Now, this is a galaxy-wide war.
Yeah, it's not confined to one little planet, one little space. It's happening
Right.
all across the known galaxy in the Dune universe.
Right. Which is why it's important to say that this is, the jihad. I mean, just like the Bolivarian jihad, 10,000 years before that. Now this is Paul's, and they're bringing their holy war to the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
Paul wants to change things. The thing is Paul can't. It's almost like King Solomon in a way. King Solomon, kind of like King David, I should say. David, with his flaws, he wanted to build the temple. He didn't want the Ark of the Covenant kept in the tent. And God says, no, that is Solomon's job. And you have a little bit of that with here, if you want to put, some of the religious connotations on there. Because you can't hide religion. Anyone who sits back and says, what was it? They're wanting to do that Dune game, but leave the religious connotations out of it.
Oh, was that the Spice Wars one or whatever? Oh no, that was the MMO or something, wasn't that it?
Yeah, the MMO, right? But the thing is you can't.
Right, that's stupid.
Just like you can't have the political intrigue left out. It's just like you can't leave the ecology issue left out. You can't, leave out the, many of the aspects of Dune. These are the center point, even going down to the addiction. Once you're addicted to spice, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
You can never get off the stuff. It will kill you. But it grants you such wonderful things: insight, long age, all that aspects. It gives the navigators the ability to see into space and navigate. They're not the ones that are moving it. It's the Gila drives. I believe it's what it is. Maybe I'm getting that messed up with 40K. But it's the Van Neumann drives. There we go. That's doing it. But the actual navigating, since you have the computers, that's what the navigators are for. They're the living computer for. And why? Because they're heavily dosed up on spice. They can't even leave their little containers no more because it would kill them.
Oh.
If you take those aspects out, you start watering down the Dune universe, the Dune mythology. It's deep.
You take out one of its key elements.
Right.
What makes it survive and what makes it go. And...
To the Fremen, the worms are God. That's got to be an important aspect to it. Then you have the manipulations of the Bene Gesserit. Yeah, they don't believe they're bullshit, but they're using it. Again, Herbert warning against messiahs, false messiah. That's the whole tone of the thing. I can't see how you'd be able to do that, and I don't know how it goes more with the second part of Dune, how much Denny V kept that in there, but just because you might be an atheist or atheistic tendency and despise religion, I'm sorry, it's in there, and obviously you're not doing your work. It's not giving religion a good press. Dune. You should be excited to do that.
I agree.
Again, it's something for you to think about.
Ooh, thinking.
Yeah. Dune isn't Star Wars.
Right.
I mean, it's closer to Star Trek. But without the hope. It's a dirty universe.
Right.
And, you know what, Cash? I think you really would enjoy reading Dune, especially if you like the Japanese RPG stuff and such, because it is something that goes into that line. You can see where Dune has influenced others. So, and if you can get your hands on the 2000 miniseries, again, I think, and not that they weren't great actors and actresses, don't get me wrong on that one. William Hurt was a great actor, rest his soul, but he's no Duke Leto Atreides.
That's true. And I do want to
Sorry.
I do want to thank Cardo89 for following the Rumble channel. Thank you very much.
Hey, welcome on board. Welcome to our nightmare. To quote Alice Cooper, well, that's a great song. Welcome to my night. Have you ever heard that song, Cash?
I think I've heard it. Yeah.
It's a great song. Great song by Alice. By the way, Alice Cooper is the name of the band, not him, but somehow.
Right. Yeah. It is confusing a bit, isn't it?
Yeah. Just like everyone thought Deborah Harry was Blondie. Oh, she's blonde. No, that's the name of the band.
Name of the band, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you should give it a try. I'm not saying it's an easy read. It's not.
Yeah, that's okay.
And I think that's what turns off a lot of people. But then again, you start going into the aspect that you can read this book a couple times.
Well, yeah, it's just like the movies. It's like you've got to do more thinking. Things don't just come at you like flash, 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 flash. Like you have to do thinking. There's just with Dune, not everybody's going to like Dune, but this did better because people could go to the theaters. So this did better than just being on a streaming service.
Right.
Which it should.
Plus, you got that big screen experience. I mean, I saw the first one on IMAX screen, and it's like, whoa, this is impressive. I didn't see it in 3D, but I just saw it on IMAX. So,
well, like I said, after giving my out of the theater review for Dune Part 2, part of the reason I gave it the score I gave it was being able to see it in the movie theater, where I wasn't able to see Part 1 in a movie theater because of the pandemic.
Right.
Yeah. And to be honest, I was very hesitant to go see Dune for many reasons. One, my wife was saying it's like, I don't know if you like this movie. I really don't. I mean, I'm not trying to sell you short or anything, but I don't know if this is something that you want. I had her watch the 84 film, and she liked the 84 film before we went out there to see it. But I was worried because I was hearing rumblings. But it took Coach and Mexican Iron Man. Mexican Iron Man was really beating me over the head and saying, you gotta go see it. You gotta see it in the theater. You gotta see it in the 3D and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, Mike. I'll go. He was the one that, solidified it for me. But even Coach did too. Coach saying about how good the film was. So with that, I have to thank them for, getting me out of my shell. And my wife basically said, no, I want to see this movie. It's like, okay, we'll go see it. And she liked it.
Yep. That's how I felt about -1. I'm like, do I need to see this? It's like, you got to watch this. You got to watch this. Great. Just kept pushing me. And then, of course, Mike liked it and other people liked it. And I was like, why not? I'll give it a chance. And yeah, I thought it was great.
And here's the thing about -1. To me, I didn't need the subtitles to tell me what they were saying. I knew what was going on just by the action. I knew what kind of emotions the characters were going through.
Yep.
I didn't need a translation.
No. But it's nice to have it. Yeah.
Yeah. Besides, you can't subtitle Godzilla, and he's a star.
Right. But, this movie is just so much more than Godzilla. And, that's why, of course, it's funny to think like it's a connection to Oppenheimer because, of course, it is talking about World War II or basically the end of World War II in Japan. But just the things that happen, the human relationships, the sacrifice, the things that are going on, how people feel, jobs that they're taking. Like there's just that they have to take. The dinner table scenes, there's a lot to really enjoy about this movie besides Godzilla. And
there is, but if I'm going to see a Godzilla film in the theaters, I want to make sure that Godzilla is there first and foremost.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and we still saw. Feel we still saw a badass looking Godzilla.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
mean,
the biggest Godzilla fan, but I really like
Mhm.
that movie. I think Godzilla's
Yeah.
cool, but I'm not a big fan like Crit is.
Yeah, which breaks his heart, by the way.
I know.
the VFX for Godzilla -1 were done better than a Hollywood movie that has a $300 million budget.
It's true.
Mhm.
I agree.
They don't understand. Like, we wanted to look crappy like that. That was our intent.
Fine,
I love that excuse.
Continue watching DC movies because honestly, every DC movie I've seen where they're heavily using special effects, it always looks like crap to me.
Yeah, and Marvel's
And-
kind of going the same way too. I mean, yeah, it's like you can't rely on that. That can't be your go-to. You have to
No,
have that
yeah.
story.
You have to
Yeah.
have practical effects.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. It's the weirdest thing where
See-
Marvel is going with their practical effects, and when you look at stuff like Winter Soldier, and I still say that's a great Marvel film because there's just so much to like about Bucky and Cap's relationship as friends and so on.
Mhm.
Just the thing about the Hydra and how when that movie, after the movie came out, like it added so much to the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and just things like that. Like that's awesome, but you don't see those connections as much anymore. Though I do hear the Loki show is good. I haven't really gotten into it. I've only watched one episode.
I don't know. I mean, the new one that just came out. I know the first like season or so, people weren't so hot for it.
I've tried watching Loki. I did.
Mm-hmm.
I only got through 15 minutes of Loki and only 20 minutes of Batwoman. What does that tell you?
Oh man, Batwoman was something. The first season was at least something, and then it was
Poor Stone Loki. Listen to that. You don't
Will you stop? Not Stone Loki, Baron.
Baron, you're
troublemaker.
dude. I swear,
am.
man, you were like, you know what? Mike gave me that opening.
You know what?
That's not.
You know what?
Extinction to all traitors!
Help! Help! I'm being repressed!
You did it to yourself, Baron.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
You're saying that because you know I'm right.
I see nothing.
Of course you don't. You have an infatuation for a dear leader.
Yeah, I also feel this way.
Very interesting, but stupid.
I have people skills. I am good at dealing with people. Can't you understand that? What the hell is wrong with you people?
Lighten up, Francis.
I wasn't talking about Stone Cold Loki, Baron. I was talking about Loki, the TV show on Disney Minus.
Disney
Baron.
Minus.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
It jumped up a notch.
It did, didn't it?
Hey, Baron, we haven't played this one in a long time. I know it's Sunday, so I want to apologize ahead of time, but we haven't played this one in a long time. This is what happens.
Do you see what happens, Larry, when you fuck a stranger in the ass? What happens?
And then this happens after that.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Yeah, well, you know, that's just like your opinion, man.
Baron.
Shasha. Shasha. Just cock.
He said, "Today is a good day to die."
And this is what's gonna.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
This is what's gonna happen to Baron later.
Where the hell have you been, soldier?
Training, sir! Training, sir!
What kind of training, son?
Army training, sir! Army training, sir!
What a great film that
I'm
was.
glad you brought that up, Cash.
Happy to
Guess
do it.
what? Guess what's on Tubi? Free to
Whoa!
watch for
Oh!
everybody. And it's going to be our next watch party.
Yeah, I like it.
That's the fact, Jack.
You're damn right. That's going to be our next watch party, everybody.
Thank you, Tubi. You did it. You did it, Tubi.
Yeah, it'll inspire men all over the nation to give their loving wives, girlfriends, the Aunt Jemima treatment.
Baron being Baron, so we had to put him in timeout.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
He wants to see how far he can push those buttons. Earlier, he says, I'm probably going to get canceled for this.
Well, you know, he did say he's Starscream, so there's going to be one day where he takes over the show, Cash, tosses you and I out outside
yeah,
of...
he just might. Bring in Janet and Anonymous.
and then we come back reformatted.
Coronation, Starscream. This is bad comedy.
Megatron? Is that you?
Here's a hint. Will anyone else attempt to fill his shoes?
Poor Starscream.
And yes, you're Cyclonus, Cash, because like you, Cyclonus has a chin.
Oh, I'm so.
Ooh, there we go.
As long as it's a beautiful chin, that's all I ask.
It's a metal one.
It's shiny and metal.
It's shiny.
How many of you believe that having a hobby is a healthy and perfect way to express your individuality? Show of hands? Now. Well, you're wrong.
It never gets old.
Are we ever going to stop these shenanigans?
Forget it. He's rolling.
Yes,
Paul's gotta see that movie, man.
If I saw Animal House on Tubi, that would have been the watch party.
Paul's gotta see that movie, man. He's got to see it. We'll all watch it with him too, dude. Animal House is a classic.
Oh yeah,
that movie's great. That movie's great.
Oh, that movie is such a classic. Fantastic film.
Yeah, Kevin Bacon plays such an ass in that movie.
He does.
He's
He
good
gets
at
run
playing
over
it, too.
Yes, he does. Yes.
Dean Wormer. Yeah.
Dean Wormer. Yeah. He's
From now on, they're on double secret probation.
Yeah. Oh man.
That movie did push limits.
What about the fucking bar? The fucking bar.
But the watch party for Stripes.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. Go ahead.
The watch party for Stripes, that's going to occur on the 17th of this month.
Sweet.
Woo!
All right.
March 17th, baby.
April
Or April 17th, baby. You know what? The other day, doing taxes, I forgot what year it was. Oh, God, I need help.
I think you've been on Pop Talk too long, Baird.
Yeah, it's like, I have.
Oh,
it's an addiction I can't quit, man. I can't quit you, man. I wish I could quit you.
No, we just try to have fun. Well, why not have fun? Isn't that what streaming is supposed to be about?
Yes.
We're having fun? Okay.
Baron just wants to be put in the dinghy again. He just wants to.
I have no
press
problem
A. If I press
him in the
B
thing.
and I press C, is that the right button? What do you think, Mike? And then Mike looks at Baron like, have you lost your mind? I press C.
Okay, if Baron wants to be kicked out, well, here we go.
Right, youngster, out you go.
Don't come back. Ever.
I didn't say I wanted to be kicked out. I just want to be loved.
Yeah, you did.
Love.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
That's right. I said, I ain't giving you no tree fitty, you goddamn Loch Ness monster. Get your own goddamn money.
I gave him a... Then you're crazy.
I know you are, but what am I?
You're a nerd.
I know you are, but what am I?
You're an idiot.
I know you are, but what am I?
I know you...
The hell you say?
This is our thing where we're about to start wrapping up. We just start doing this crazy thing.
You know what? We forgot to do this at the start of the show.
You might think everything is okay, but Disney is gonna get you. Kathleen Kennedy's gonna get you. Disney and Kathleen Kennedy are gonna get you.
No. I forgot to do this at the beginning of the show, Bear. I'm Mo, by the way.
Yeah. You know, I think I think it was TGAP that had it right. Phil's Shemp. He's more of a Shemp than me. I guess I'm a little bit more of a curly.
And
here we are.
Look, DJ Ronnie G, our special guest for this Wednesday.
Yeah.
Nerd. No, he's not the special guest. This is Turtles. His Turtles are special guest.
Yeah, his Turtles.
But
he's
yeah,
he's gonna dress up as a Ninja Turtle. I heard too. So he's
Yeah.
gonna go Turtle Power, and then he's gonna throw his turtles across it. They're gonna land on the right legs though. So
Right. Yeah, I mean, that was part of the deal. It's like we wanted the Turtles on. He said, well, if the Turtles are on, I have to be on too. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, he is their Faja.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Come on, Baron. Tell me you've watched Goldmember. Come on.
It's been a long time. I want to sit down. I have all three of them. One of those all three on one disc thing. I'm going to have to sit down, binge them all. Actually, you know, Austin Powers movies is one of those things like Office Space was. I've seen the movie, but in pieces.
I got you. It happens. It's like, oh, I
Yeah.
haven't. Yeah, it happens, man.
So I need to actually honestly sit down and watch from beginning to end. So
yeah.
So,
Well,
and that
I'm
makes me
not
so
asking
sick
you
about
to disturb your turtles, but Baron might.
Turtles. Yeah, just keep him away from Phil. He's gonna want to turn him into soup.
Yeah, he will. Like
that's
Shredder.
Yeah.
Like Shredder. Maybe he's secretly
Tonight,
Shredder.
I died on turtle
Yep.
soup.
You know what? Maybe Phil is secretly Shredder, not just
I think so.
Smith, but yeah.
He's kind of all the baddies out there.
He is, man. And he, Yep.
I mean, I'm sure there's even some Dr. Evil in him.
Skeletor and Dr. Evil and Yep.
Yeah, poor Skeletor. No one understood him.
He's
Of course they didn't understand me, you boob. You fur-buried boob.
I think it was the accent.
How dare you?
But anyways, gentlemen, since we are at the end of the show, how about we start promoting ourselves, starting with Cash Monet
Oh.
of the Phantom Hooligans.
Hooligans,
I
yes.
thought it was hooligans.
Yeah.
I like Hooligans better, but you know how Cash gets when we start calling him Cash Money 007.
Yes, when we play Ghostbusters again, we'll call it Booligans, all right?
I'm going to call it Booligans regardless. I don't care what you say.
Listen to these guys, man. This is why they go back in the
I'm not going to the D. I'm the captain of the ship, damn it.
Yeah.
Until Baron's trying to backstab us both, though. That's what's happening. He's like,
What else is new?
That's right. But so yes, next week we're going to be back with Vermintide 2 at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I think Anonymous will hopefully be joining us again. And so that'll be fun. We're going to get our goal accomplished, and then we'll move on to another game. But I don't know about you guys. I'm still having fun with Vermintide. It's just sometimes frustrating the last few weeks. But
Well, of course we're having fun, but we'd be having more fun if someone wasn't 10 levels higher than us.
yes,
Cash money.
I didn't want to ever make the game harder for the group, and now I kind of feel bad about it. Only kind of though.
You did not listen to us when we said that the difficulty was harder. They made the difficulty harder.
Yeah,
We found out why they made the difficulty harder because of you.
Because of me, they want to blame me. Now, should I say I'm the victim? No, I'm not the victim.
No, you are. Yeah, we're the victims.
They're Anonymous and myself are the victims.
But as Anonymous said,
are the perpetrator.
It just happened that way, but I do kind of feel bad about it, so we'll get it fixed.
Oh, don't feel bad.
It doesn't. No, don't believe that. Don't fall into that. That's a trap, Baron. That's a trap.
I know it's a trap. But the thing is, what to be sorry for? I was having fun still, even if I was getting slaughtered. It was Cash's fault. And then he starts acting like a dwarf, even though
we're playing on veteran, and then we've got how many shield rats do we have? Like 5 at least in one horde group at least.
No, that was on champion. That was on champion.
Oh, champion. We had like 7 or 8.
Yeah, we didn't last long. On
we should do this fun on champion.
Hey,
no,
just
we're
like
not.
Mike,
No,
just
Baron,
like Mike,
Yep.
Just like Mike, I enjoy punishing myself in games too.
Yeah, but you punish the rest of us too. If you're gonna do the punishing, why don't you just punish yourself and leave the rest of us out of it? Damn it!
Put it on easy mode, Cash. Put it on easy mode.
No. Wait for the rest of us to get up to level 35 before he
around there. Level 30.
Well, like I said, it's not going to. Okay. Right. Yeah, like I was saying, going to that recruit level is not going to easy mode. It's going to more.
No, they still were throwing crap at us, weren't they?
Yeah, they still were. It still wasn't easy, man.
It's like, oh, you guys think this is easy? No, we're still going to throw some crap at you. I mean, like, they gave us more healing potions and so on, but still, med kits.
Right.
But still, they want to throw stuff at us.
It was still a challenge. It's still a challenge.
But as long as we can use that to also level up, that's
and that's the big important thing. That's what you need to do. It's like D&D. You don't bring a third level character into an eighth level dungeon, and that's what was happening with us.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, they really were like they wanted to be like, oh, you want to keep doing this? It's gonna beat us.
Yeah. You don't bring a bunch of guys that are in their 20s, level 23, 24, and 28, and then you have a guy that's level 35. That level 35 guy is going to cause you all the problems in the world.
Yeah,
Cash money.
We'll make sure it don't cause those problems again.
Hey, Baron, can you tell I love giving Cash shit?
Oh,
I give Mike
making
shit.
Him cry.
So
making him cry.
Making him cry. You gonna cry?
Okay, Scott Farkas, you gonna cry? Well, cry, Cash, cry.
Too bad. Show me those tears. Yeah, no. No, we're so close to completing our goal on veteran.
I know. We are.
Guys.
We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll
get there when we get that last level of skills, and then of course make sure we get our equipment up. We'll kick some ass.
Yep, we will. And then also next week there'll be. I'm so happy I got the restream problem fixed. And Mike helped me with that, so that was awesome. And Mike knows how to do it too, so it's just like Restream hooked us up with OBS. But Slobs tells us unless you pay, you go screw yourself, basically.
Yeah.
But Slobs
Cash was giddy. Cash was giddy as a schoolgirl when he found that out. I mean, when I logged in, and he said, Baron, guess what?
I was happy about it, but Baron was happy about it too. So
you
can help. We can help Baron with it. But yeah, so that's coming up. So the next stream, of course, as it was posted on the community tab, is Persona 5 Royal, and that game is going to. I'm going to be playing on hard difficulty because I'm a glutton for punishment, but I know I can handle it, so it'll be great. So that'll be coming up on the Phantom Hooligans, and then there's going to be some more videos. I've still got the grind session planned for East game, as it's pronounced. Lacrimosa of Donna, I think it's called. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to doing that. Some gaming tips, and then there's going to be some other videos of some other articles, and I'll be still working on that. But I just recently got the Persona 3 Reloaded video done, so I want people to check out that on the Phantom Hooligans. And yep.
And it was just OBS, DJ.
Yeah,
the
it's
way
just
you have
OBS.
to configure everything with between OBS and Restream to get it all to work properly. Otherwise, if you don't, you'll be experiencing problems like Cash was, where you would schedule a stream, and as soon as you started it, it would create another stream.
Yep.
And he's going to do an advice video on something he can't even pronounce. Okay.
Well,
No,
you know
that's
what,
what
Cash?
it's called, dude. It's called Lacrimosa. of Donna.
Remember,
I'm not joking.
you know what you should do?
Hmm.
Because you found that one video, and even the author of that one video was saying there's really not any videos out there about this issue with OBS. Maybe you should post one.
Maybe I should. There's barely any videos out there, so yeah, maybe I should.
The Trials of Cash Monet.
Yeah, but yeah, no, it's called Lacrimosa of Donna. That's the official title of that game, Baron.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, you were seeming to have problems or
No,
whatever.
No, that sounds pronounced. Nice try, though, Baron. I see what you're doing. Baron is just out of control today, Mike.
We can rewind the tape. Actually, I think I'm behaving pretty good today, I thought.
No.
You're being your typical self. You're just trying to press the button.
Yeah, press the button.
Working?
He goes
Is this
A,
working?
B, C, D, E, F, G.
Press the button, Frank.
You know what movie I'd also like to do a watch party for?
The
Naked Gun.
Oh, okay.
Oh, dude. Yes. Great movie.
Da-da-da-da.
Great movie. He's in the bathroom and he has the mic in there. Oh, yeah.
It won't stop. Yeah.
The scene where the woman gets, he says, okay, raise your finger.
Yeah.
The other driver.
Raise your arm. Now extend your middle finger.
That was his last role, too, believe it or not.
Oh, really? That's unfortunate.
John Houseman, yep.
Yep.
And
so
yeah, and that's what made it funny. It was him doing it. It was more than anything else in the situation. And even made it more funny with him.
Leslie Nielsen's character Frank Drebin's like he's looking at it. It says student driver, and the look on his face.
Yeah, and they're doing that chase, and he's commenting on her driving to the. Yeah, it's just John Houseman.
Oh,
and it's like we do it the old-fashioned way.
Use your turn signal.
They make money the old-fashioned way. They earn it.
It's great.
And yet they want to remake that movie.
No.
Leslie Nielsen, but he's known Leslie Nielsen.
Right.
No.
I mean, yeah, it's like it's kind of a funny story. When we talk about Leslie Nielsen, of course, Lloyd Bridges from Airplane kind of got in the same situation as Leslie, where Leslie Nielsen just glommed on to doing all those comedic roles. Lloyd Bridges would just go around and bitch and moan to Jeff and Bo Bridges about all I'm doing, all they're offering now because the Airplane has all these comedy roles. And he said it's the funniest thing. It was even funnier than watching him on the screen and him going around pissing and moaning about only being off for roles like that, like Hot Shots Part 2 and Hot Shots and stuff.
Seinfeld.
Yet even though he was upset about that, he was on an episode of Seinfeld.
It's so funny. It's go time.
Yep. I don't know. Along the way, he must have mellowed out a little bit on it, but of course, this is coming from Jeff Bridges, who's all over the place with his acting.
Oh yeah, I know, dude. Great, yeah. His dad would be very proud of him, and I'm sure his mom.
I think he was.
Yes.
Yeah, I think very much so.
Mm-hmm.
That was a close family. Close family.
Yeah, they were. They definitely were. And Baron, what do you have coming up on Baron Owen Tag's Fandom Legacy?
On Friday, I'll be streaming Vermintide 2 at 6:30 East Pacific Daylight Time. Actually on Saturday, and this is where I really got to start doing my homework, because I have to admit season 5 is a bit of a weak spot for me.
Yes.
Even though there's people bemoan it, but again, like I said, there are gems in there, and I've been proven right.
I agree.
By
I agree with that.
Yes. But it's season 5 of Babylon 5. It shows that even the weakest seasons of this show still outdoes what we're getting today in entertainment. And so we're going to start off with the first part of season 5, Babylon 5, on Baron Ormantag's Fandom Legacy, 7 o'clock Central Daylight Time on Saturday. So, yeah, well, I have a whole week to prep up now.
Very good.
Nice.
I probably watch 4 episodes to refresh myself. Again, I don't want them to go too long, but you get Phil in there, and it's like, okay, class, listen up now. Which is great.
Baron, Pacific, and Cash Money, quit slouching.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Detention. Well, I'd call him Dr. Phil, but I don't want to insult him.
And as far as Pacific414 is concerned, the next episode of Pop Talk will be this Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern on the YouTube channel, the Twitch page, and not Twitch, Twitter, Mike, you moron.
Yeah, it starts with a T.
And also the Rumble channel at 6 p.m. Eastern, where our guest will be this gentleman right here. Lighten up, Francis.
He's mean to me.
No, he's not. He's been a cordial host to you. He's been a friend to you.
Yeah, he's really good.
He's been nice. He's been good to you, Baron. He's been good. He's been good to you, Baron.
He's been good to all of us.
Why are you gonna treat DJ Ronnie G like that? He's been good to you. He's treated you like your family.
He's on the wrong.
Treat him?
Hey, he's on the wrong island. He's on the wrong island.
No, he's where he needs to be. That's right. And if we're not behaved enough, he's gonna bring his turtles onto the show.
Boss,
his muscle.
But boss, it was his experiments that caused that earthquake.
Right. But DJ Ronnie G will be our guest this Wednesday. Then on Thursday, I'll be playing more Mad Max. Then I'll also be making 2 guest appearances this week, as some of you who were here earlier already know. I'll be on Real Wade Gaming Live tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. And I'll also be on Pop's channel at 5:30 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday, and we'll be talking about Transformers the movie. And don't worry, folks, I don't ever get as wild as I am on my own show when I'm on others, because you read the room. And you know, if you've been there before, how the host expects you to act. So
he might be wilder. You never know.
Well, if Pops is okay with it, I don't know if he will be, but if Pops is okay with it, And he may not be. I might do me Grimlock impression when we talk Transformers the movie. Because me Grimlock like it. Me king.
He's far too classy of an individual for that.
So honestly, it's going to probably be a great conversation.
Oh yeah, I think you'll like Grimlock. Who doesn't like Grimlock? I mean, really, honestly, Grimlock's cool.
Who don't like Grimlock? Me Grimlock kicked their butt. Yeah,
as long as it's not Gorlock.
True. I like to have fun on my own streams, but again, when I'm on someone else's, I know how to tone it down. But unless you gentlemen have anything else that you want to promote or anything else you want to promote.
No. I'm not invited to Amers anymore, so I'll be here in my show in Vermont, in the corner, crying. Unwanted, unused.
Oh, wait a minute. Baron, he streams with that Pacific guy. Oh, hell no, we're not having that guy on.
No. What do you mean? We want the Pacific guy. We want him. Oh, Vor's here? Hey, Vor.
Well, let me go ahead and start Vor. It's good to see you, Vor. Because I want to thank everybody who was here during this edition of Pacific414 Pop Talk. I do want to thank Vor for coming in. I also want to thank DJ Ronnie G. Excuse me.
Nerd.
Laserhawk Darren. Paul of Phantomology. Real Wade Gaming Live. Good to see you, Wave. We also had Kilted Cajun. Good to see you, Kilted. Lester San Jose, the Skeptic Tank. And Pops. Good to see you, Pops. Tim's Talk. Good to see you, Tim. Low Spec Linux Laptop.
Two big ones there.
Pat Wannabe. Mm-hmm. Jet Sparks. Blue Wolf.
Oh.
Some guy by the name of Phil McCracken who likes to give DJ a hard time about the shirt that he wears.
Mm-hmm.
Big Daddy TGAP. And this is all on the YouTube side. And then, of course, on Rumble, we had Cardo89 over on Rumble who followed the channel. Thank you very much. Hope you all enjoyed this episode of Pacific414 Pop Talk, especially when we got some crazy, silly, and stupid going on with us.
Yeah.
We just have fun. Again, what's wrong with having fun? Absolutely nothing. But thank you all very, very much. Make sure if you're watching on Baron Orman Tag's YouTube channel, Cash's YouTube channel, or the Pacific414 YouTube channel that you leave a like. Same goes for the Rumble channel. And for those of you watching on Facebook, hit that like button. Hit that like button over there. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's what Facebook's about.
For those of you on Twitter, give us a heart. Show that you have a heart by giving us a heart. Because God knows the three of us don't have one.
No.
Probably not.
No. You're an AI.
So are you, Baron.
No, I'm a replicant.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an AI who didn't get all his programming.
Oh, I thought that's Cash. Okay.
But thank you all very much. Hope you have a good one. And as always, don't ever give up on me in a game, because just when you do, you might miss something. Have a good Sunday, all.
Autobots, transform and roll out!
That was a dog.